Chapter 375. Just like that, after the house was built, Lin Ray and his family moved in. On the other side, Lin Yun and his mother had also chosen a place. However, Lin Yun did not listen to Lin Ray and started to do it himself. 100 years had passed, and there were many things that he did not know. However, in these 100 years, what he understood the most was that no matter what it was, he had to do it himself. This was the truth that he had understood in these 100 years. Go. The male brother will be here in a while. Go and cook some food, then check on the immortal ancestor and a few others. Let's have a meal together as a family. All right, and Yunner, forget it, call them over. At this moment, in the room by the waterfall, Lin Ray sat on the bed and said to his son and Aura, his face full of enjoyment. All right, I got it. Yes, father, I'll go and call senior brother and sister over. Just as he finished speaking, Jin left, while Jin Ling went out to cook. Sai, let's go and take a look. After all, we owe them too much. At this moment, Lin Ray, who was in the room, thought of his other son and instantly disappeared from the room with a teleportation. Releasing his divine sense, he instantly saw that Lin Yun and his mother were in the southeast direction, leaning against a mountain. Moreover, Lin Yun was currently building a house. Seeing this scene, Lin Ray frowned and felt uncomfortable in his heart. He did not expect his son's temper to be so stubborn. They had clearly agreed, but now, sensing their location, Lin Ray came to their side, his eyes full of guilt. Yinner, don't build it. Didn't you say that you would find a good place and I would help you build it? With that, Lin Ray raised his arm, then picked up the wood and began to build it. For someone like him who had built a house before, it was simply a piece of cake. Lin Ray's actions did not cause Lin Yun to put down the work at hand. The two of them, one on each side, very quickly, a cultivator could build a house in an instant. Not long after, two houses appeared in front of Lin Ray. Yinner, Yaoer, let's go over there to eat later. Jin Ling has cooked. Just in time, I wanted to tell you about the future. After the house was built, the things that needed to be done were done. So part of the purpose of coming here was revealed. She didn't say anything, but Linley could see the difficulty in Yao Er's eyes. As for Lin Yun, he was looking at his mother. Go ahead. We still have a lot of time to spend together in the future. So, okay, I got it. We'll be there in a while. Let's go tidy up the room first. After saying that, Yao Er brought Lin Yun into the room and closed the door. As for Linley, he couldn't just stand at the door. Thinking that his younger brother could come at any time, he teleported to his room. Aside from Yao Er and her son, no one else knew about Linley's whereabouts. After leaving, Jin wandered around the heavenly stellar palace for a long time before finally finding Lin Wanyu and the others. Looking at them, Jin walked toward them step by step. How could Lin Wanyu and the others, who were at the Daluo realm, not notice Jin? Hee, junior brother. What are you doing here? That's right, junior brother. Shouldn't you be with master now? You're right. May I know why junior brother is here? Hearing their words, Jin was stunned. Then, he repeated Lin Ray's words. Father said to let you all tidy up. We'll have dinner later. Oh, dinner? Hearing their junior brother's words, everyone was stunned. They thought they had heard wrongly. Junior brother, are you sure master said to have dinner and not something else? Yes, that's right. After verifying, they nodded in agreement. Okay, we got it. Since we're here, let's help senior sister. Under the bombardment of his senior brothers and senior sisters, Jin finally joined them in their work. At this moment, Dong Xiaonan, who had made an appointment with Lin Ray, was standing at the door. He looked left and right as if admiring Lin Ray's house with great interest. Hee, junior brother, Brother Lei is waiting for you inside. Hurry up and go in. At this moment, Jin Ling, who was cooking, smiled at Dong Xiaonan and invited him into the room. Okay, thank you, sister-in-law. After nodding in agreement, the junior brother entered the room. The moment he entered the room, Lin Ray was sitting in the middle and looking at him. Hee, Brother Lei. Seeing that Lin Ray didn't say anything, the junior brother felt a little creepy and embarrassed to let a man keep looking at him like that. Well, come on. Let me talk to you about something serious. Looking at the junior brother, Lin Ray quickly pointed to the seat next to him and motioned for him to sit next to him. The junior brother didn't refuse. After sitting down, he looked at Lin Ray with a serious expression, as if what he was going to say next was very serious. It made Lin Ray nervous. Hee, don't be so nervous. This is the first time you've seen something like this. Don't worry. Although he said this, the junior brother's body tensed up even more. Seeing this, Lin Ray didn't try to dissuade him. Instead, he went straight to the topic and said, although the sect is now established, the people outside don't know about it. I want you to tell the people of the Nine Heavens Trading Company to help spread the news in the immortal realm. Oh, by the way, send invitations to the 5 great sects of the 5 great empires and some famous families in the immortal realm. Tell them that the Nine Heavens Xuanzong sect is in the Heaven sect, and we sincerely invite them to come. Okay. At this moment, after hearing Lin Ray's words, Dong Xiaonan's face became serious and his eyes were filled with embarrassment. Although he was very confident in his current sect, a tall tree attracts the wind. With such a big place, so many palaces, and his earth-level position, he believed that inviting those people would only cause trouble for the sect. Even the junior brother was afraid that they would kill him and rob him. At this moment, Dong Xiaonan thought a lot. Lin Ray didn't know what the junior brother was thinking. So when he saw the junior brother's embarrassment, he thought that he was unwilling and laughed awkwardly. Actually, it's nothing. If you don't have time, then don't. I'll find another way. Plop. Lin Ray had just finished speaking when Dong Xiaonan, who was sitting in his seat, hurriedly knelt on the ground absent-mindedly, his face full of anxiety. Oh, sect leader. Sect leader, what are you saying? Since this is your arrangement, how can I refuse? Then, how can this little brother refuse? After all, the Nine Heavens Trading Company belongs to you, Brother Lei. Looking at the junior brother kneeling absent-mindedly on the ground, Lin Ray hurriedly stood up and helped him up. With a smile, he said, Okay, it's settled then. But remember, you must be quick. In 4 years, the celebration of the Nine Heavens Xuanzong sect will officially begin. Okay, I got it. When I go back, I'll send someone to the nearest trading company to spread your order. I believe that it won't be long before the Sky Vault land becomes lively. Okay, come on. Let's drink. After we're done talking about business, let's get drunk. Speaking up to this point, Linley took out 2 large wine cups, poured some wine, and began to drink to his heart's content. At this moment, Jean Ling, who was cooking outside, heard the sound of drinking in the room. She smiled and didn't say anything. Jean In, who had gone out to call for people, brought Lin Wanyu and the others to Lin Leichuan's place. As soon as they entered, their eyes lit up. There was only one place in this place. Their place was a ready-made palace, which could not be compared to this place. Wow, this place is so beautiful. If I had known, I would have followed Master to live here. Yes, look at this place and look at me. We're simply not on the same level. No, when I see Master later, I must ask for a place to live. I want to live here too. As soon as they entered, their exclamations and envy filled Jean Un's ears. All of them even had the idea of abandoning their original place and moving here to live. Jean Un couldn't stop laughing. Ha ha ha, senior sister and senior brother, you're so cute, ha. Suddenly, Jean Un's voice caught Lin Wanyu's attention. A light flashed across her eyes, and she instantly cast a body-fixing technique on Jean Un, making him unable to move. However, he was still laughing heartily. Humph, that's what you get for laughing at us. See if I don't teach you a lesson for being so impudent in the future. Others were very respectful to this young sect leader, but for Lin Wanyu and the others, they were not afraid, especially Lin Wanyu. Eldest senior sister, I was wrong. Please let me go. I won't do it again. As soon as this phenomenon appeared, Jean Un's body trembled. In an instant, a pitiful look appeared on his face. He began to beg Lin Wanyu, looking very cute. However, it was obvious that this method did not work at all. Lin Wanyu acted as if she did not hear him. She came to Jean Un's side, pinched his ear, and began to teach him a lesson. Humph, you little brat. How dare you make fun of your senior sister? Do you know how to be polite? It seems that after not seeing you for a short time, your skin is itching again. At that moment, Lin Wanyu's actions did not look like a girl's at all. Instead, she looked more like a man. Sometimes, when Lin Wanyu pinched Jinin's ear, the four people behind him would feel their own ears hurt, and they would subconsciously cover their ears. Okay, senior sister. Let's hurry to master. What if something happens? Looking at the painful begging of her junior brother, Estranged hurried forward. That's right, senior sister. Let's hurry. In an instant, everyone began to beg. Lin Wanyu also thought about it and let Jinin go. Then, she let him lead the way to Lin Rei's place. Haha, come drink. Today, we won't go back until we're drunk. At this moment, Lin Rei was also drinking heavily. He was already drunk. At this moment, Lin Rei's skin was a little red. Obviously, the wine had reached his face. Haha, junior brother, your battlefield is the entire immortal realm. Now, the immortal realm can be divided into 4 big trading companies. However, my request is to divide the world into 3. Since our 9 Heavens Trading Company wants to interfere, then one of them will definitely be swallowed up by us. At this moment, the drunk Lin Rei said to the young man lying on the table in a daze. His tone was very domineering. If there were outsiders who heard Lin Rei's words, they would definitely think that he was bragging and showing off. However, if people who knew him heard Lin Rei's words, they would think that he would definitely be able to do it. Moreover, he would be even more outstanding. At this moment, outside the room, Jin Enli, Lin Wanyu, and the others came to the front. Looking at Jin Ling, who was cooking, everyone stepped forward and bowed. Greetings, mistress. Is master at this moment? Before Lin Wanyu could finish speaking, Jin Ling opened her mouth and said, your master is already drunk now. Let's eat first today. When he's done tomorrow, you can go and pay him a visit. Hearing Jin Ling's words, everyone nodded in agreement. In the end, they didn't disturb Lin Rei and Dong Xiaonan. They hurriedly ate and then left. In the blink of an eye, day and night changed. Dong Xiaonan, who had drunk and slept for a night, slowly woke up in the room. He opened his eyes and looked around. The unfamiliar environment reminded him of what had happened last night. For a moment, his face drooped, and he even felt embarrassed. Thinking of this, the young man was about to get out of bed. At this moment, the sound of the door opening was heard. Jia! Then, a woman walked in from outside the door. When she saw the young man about to get out of bed, the woman smiled and said, Junior brother, you're awake. Haha, sister-in-law, I'm really sorry. I couldn't control myself yesterday and got drunk. I'm really sorry. After speaking, Dong Xiaonan got out of bed in embarrassment and then left. Haha, am I that scary? Looking at the young man who ran out in a hurry, Jin Ling smiled and didn't say anything. Just like that, Lin Rei and the disciples of the Xuanzong sect began to get busy for the celebration of the sect. The young man followed Lin Rei's orders and went to the nearest branch of the 9 Heavens Trading Company to spread the news that the 9 Heavens Xuanzong sect was established in Heaven's Vault. The news spread very quickly. In less than a month, all the big and small companies in the celestial world had received the news. In an instant, the celestial world was shaken and everyone was filled with uneasiness. At this moment, in the main hall of the Kunlun Immortal Sect in front of the Kunlun Immortal Mountain in the east, Immortal Emperor Xian Dao's face was full of anger as he roared at the people below. Good. Since they're establishing a sect in the east under the jurisdiction of the Kunlun Immortal Sect, it seems that if I don't teach you a lesson, you won't know how many eyes you have. Then, Immortal Emperor Xian Dao said again, Go, send people over and see what they're capable of. Since they're establishing a sect in the east, they obviously don't care about the Kunlun Immortal Sect. When the elders below saw that the sect master was so angry, one of them walked up and said, Sect master, don't be angry. Think about it first. Since they're able to establish a sect in a forbidden area like Heaven's Vault, it's inevitable that they're powerful. Moreover, the 9 Heaven Xuanzong sect was able to kill immortal emperors 100 years ago. Moreover, 100 years have passed. Who knows how much their strength has increased in the past 100 years? Perhaps Xian Dao was too angry to think about it for a moment. However, with the old man's reminder, Xian Dao returned to his previous state. Chapter 376. Not only the Kunlun Immortal Sect in the east, but also the Kunlun Immortal Sect in the west, south, and north. Even the Qinquan Sect in the middle path was the same. The treasured land of Tianxiong had always been contested by the big sects because the things here had not been mined and were very rich. Therefore, over the years, it was inevitable that there would be some small conflicts between the sects and empires. However, they never expected that Tianxiong would suddenly be used by someone else to establish a sect. Moreover, this sect appeared out of nowhere after they had been investigating it for so long. This made it even more difficult for them to understand. Even immortal emperors had to be careful when entering the forbidden land of Tianxiong. Otherwise, they would die without a burial place. No matter how hard they tried, they could not figure out how the Xuanzong sect did it. This was what they wanted to know the most. Of course, apart from those who wanted to enter Tianxiong to explore the Xuanzong sect, there were also people and sects who were happy that the Xuanzong sect had appeared. For example, Wan Yinduo of the Wanbao sect and Jing Xiao of the Jingtian sect were very happy when they learned that Tianxiong had been occupied by the Xuanzong sect. Moreover, they had already told their elders about it. After they learned about it, they were also happy that they could join such a sect. Therefore, for them, this was not a bad thing. Instead, it was a good thing. Since they had made friends with such a sect, they had nothing to worry about. However, these two sects were not the only ones who were happy. The Jianzong sect was also happy, especially Jianwudi. The appearance of the Xuanzong sect meant that his son, Jianfeng, was also born. After hearing this news, he ignored everyone's objections and flew to Tianxiong with his wife and daughter. In addition, the Formation Emperor also flew to Tianxiong after hearing the news that the Xuanzong sect had appeared. At this time, no matter where in the immortal realm, all the restaurants of all sizes were talking about nothing other than the mysterious Xuanzong sect. They were only talking about what kind of person the Xuanzong sect leader was. Many people had sent people to Tianxiong Mountain the moment the Xuanzong sect appeared in the world. Among them, there were many small sections. As for the 5 great empires, they had all sent people from their royal families to express their goodwill. This move was even more eye-catching. In an instant, the Xuanzong sect was once again thrown into the teeth of the storm. As the saying goes, a storm is brewing in the mountains, and a tall tree attracts the wind. At this moment, Lin Rei's Xuanzong sect was being watched by countless eyes. It was like a domino, and people couldn't help but pay attention to it. There were even some small sects that wanted to go to Heaven Vault Mountain to pick up some scraps and get some small benefits. Since Heaven Vault Mountain was able to establish a sect, it meant that the Yixiang there had all disappeared. This was what they thought. Haha. But they never imagined that not only did the phenomenon not disappear, it was even more powerful than before. As long as they did not have Lin Rei's permission, they would be killed without hesitation. And this place would definitely become an Azura battlefield filled with corpses and blood. Lin Rei had long thought of this. This was because his appearance and the appearance of the 9 Heaven Xuanzong sect had affected the development of many people, especially the Kunlun Immortal sect. Establishing a sect in the territory of the Kunlun Immortal sect was enough to slap them in the face. Lin Rei did not comment on this. Lin Rei had long known about this. This was because in the 1 month since the news was released, people had arrived at Heaven Vault Mountain one after another. Most of them were safely at the entrance, while some who wanted to take advantage of some small benefits charged in without any regard for their lives. Lin Rei did not waste any time on those who trespassed into Heaven Vault Mountain. He immediately activated the array formation and killed them in an instant. At this moment, in the space where Lin Rei lived in the backyard of the Tianshan Palace, Lin Rei was lying on a recliner by the shore. He held a fruit in one hand and a wine gourd in the other. Beside him was his beautiful wife. This kind of atmosphere was very enjoyable. In the water, under the waterfall, Shu Yuan, Lin Xinyuan, and Kalun were bare-chested under the waterfall. Their bodies were being tempered by the waterfall. His face was filled with pain. On the shore, Lin Wanyu and Lin Yuro were also under the pressure of gravity that was several times stronger than their own strength. They struggled to support their bodies that were bent down to their knees. Tears streamed down their faces without end. This scene became Lin Ray's entertainment when he was resting. Looking at his disciples, Lin Ray shook his head and muttered to himself, "Alas, I haven't trained them for so many years. Look, the ability of your bodies is simply to the extreme. I've already told you that the body is a cultivator's second cultivation. Look at you now. It's simply making me." The more Lin Ray spoke, the angrier he became. He had wanted to try it out on a whim, but he had not expected that the result would be so disappointing. "Alas, Brother Lay, you can't say that. I haven't seen them for 100 years. It's already very good that their cultivation has not reached this level. After all, they are still children." Lin Ray was surprised by his words. Children? Haha, what a joke. They were already over 100 years old. How could they still be children? Weren't they afraid that people would laugh their heads off if they heard this? That's enough. You don't have to say anymore. And it's really good that I haven't seen them before. I don't know how strong they are. When I have time, I will definitely test them. If they're not qualified, they will go to the Heaven Vault mountain range to gain experience. When their cultivation has increased and their bodies have become extremely strong, they will come out. Jin Un and Lin Yun did not know that the suffering they had suffered in the Heaven Vault mountain range had been caused by their mother, Jin Ling. Alas. Forget it. You can do whatever you want. I don't care anymore. As she spoke, Jin Ling stood up and left. Lin Ray did not care. He just stared at his disciples, afraid that they would slack off when he was not paying attention. At this moment, at the entrance of the Heaven Vault mountain, thousands of people had gathered here. It was noisy, which was really annoying. However, there were still people who wanted to enter the mountain range and take advantage of it. Whoosh! The sound of something breaking through the air was heard. For a moment, everyone's eyes were focused on the person who was breaking through the air. Damn, who is this? He is so awesome. The whole family is here. This guy is really going all out. No, this sword essence. Why is this sword essence so powerful? As far as I know, only the people from the sword faction in the immortal realm can cultivate to this level. These people are... At this moment, there was a heated discussion among the thousands of people at the entrance. At this moment, the family of three in the air was getting closer and closer. Their appearances were also revealed to the crowd. No, that man is Jian Wudi from the sword faction, the leader of the sword faction. My God, even he is here. It seems that the Xuanzong sect in the Heaven Vault mountain is going to be miserable. I just don't know if the others are here. Chapter 377. At this time, Jian Wudi and his family were standing in the air, looking at the entrance. They were hesitant. Woody, why didn't you shout? Didn't we agree on the way here that you would be in charge of shouting when we arrived? Why did you forget so quickly? At this moment, the middle-aged woman beside Jian Wudi looked at her husband's hesitant expression. Her face was filled with displeasure. Yes, father. Brother hasn't been home for so long. I miss him so much. Hurry up and shout. Jian Wudi was speechless and regretful after hearing his wife and daughter's words. Alas, if I had known, I wouldn't have agreed so casually. Now there's so many people and they want me, the leader of the sword sect, to shout at the entrance. If this gets out my face. What he thought was not what he said. At this moment, Jian Feng activated his immortal spiritual energy and shouted at Tianxiong Mountain. The leader of the sword sect, Jian Wudi, has brought his wife and daughter to pay respects to the leader of the Xuanzong sect. I wonder if he can open the entrance and let us in for a chat. Jian Wudi felt terrible after hearing that. This was probably the first time he had done something like this in his entire life. Hurry up, shout again. Because of his wife's impatience, Jian Wudi could only swallow his anger and shout again. Jian Wudi of the sword sect pays respects to the leader of the Xuanzong sect. This shout was much louder than the previous one. If not for the fact that most of the people present were high-level practitioners, they would have fainted with bloodshot eyes. However, there were high-level and low-level practitioners. Those practitioners who couldn't bear Jian Wudi's voice fainted on the spot and were carried away by their companions or sects to rest. At this moment, in Lin Rei's residence in the Tianxiong Palace, Lin Rei was supervising his disciples' cultivation when he heard Jian Wudi's voice. He frowned. What are they doing here? Although he didn't know what they were thinking, Lin Rei didn't stop them because their son was now the leader of his sect. Shui Yuan, come up first. Tell Jian Feng, the leader of the law enforcement department, to invite his family in. Stop shouting outside. At this moment, Lin Rei's voice was like a decree of amnesty, causing a strange body to relax. Beside him, Karun, Lin Wanyu, and the others were not willing. Master, I also want to go have a look. As soon as Lin Wanyu said that, Lin Rei looked over. Suddenly, Lin Wanyu shut her mouth and lowered her head to continue cultivating. It was as if she had never said anything. Yes, master. I understand. I'll go now. After receiving the order, Alienation went ashore and put on his clothes. Then, he teleported and disappeared. When he reappeared, he was already at the entrance of the law enforcement department, which was the closest to Tianxian Palace. Leader Jian Feng, the sect leader has ordered you to invite your family members into the Sky Dome. Not long after, Jian Feng hurriedly walked out of the palace. At this moment, Jian Feng's eyes were slightly red, as if he had just passed by. All right, I'll go now. When Jian Feng came out and saw that the person who came to report was estranged, he immediately responded and greeted him, then hurriedly left. Alas, I don't know where he is now. Does he miss me? To be honest, when he saw this scene, he couldn't help but think of his master who had adopted him when he was in the mysterious Sky Realm. Tears welled up in his eyes. Every time he thought of the past, he would feel like this, but it would soon pass. After finishing his task, Alienation turned around and left. Jian Feng hurriedly left the law enforcement department and kept teleporting. Soon, he arrived at the entrance of the mountain. Open. At this moment, a jade tablet appeared in Jian Feng's hand. Jian Feng shouted to the front. The place that was originally filled with smoke now revealed its original appearance. A simple and unadorned door appeared in front of him. There was a secret groove on the door. Looking at it, Jian Feng understood how to open the door. Open the door and put the jade tablet in the groove. Crack, crack, crack. The sound of the door opening could be heard. At this moment, the door was slowly opening. At the same time, the people at the entrance of the Sky Dome also felt this scene. They came like bees in a cocoon, wanted to enter the moment the door opened in order to find opportunities. All of you scram. But how could Jian Wudi, who was in the outside world, allow this to happen? When he saw someone among the 1,000 people standing out, Jian Wudi let out a cold shout. Along with his majestic immortal chi, he instantly pushed all of them back. This is the door I opened. If you dare to act rashly, don't blame me for bullying the younger generation. Jian Wudi's words stunned everyone. If they had known that the Sword Sect was one of the top sects in the immortal world, they wouldn't have dared to step forward. Very good. Jian Wudi smiled when he saw how obedient they were. At the same time, a huge door appeared in the sky, and it was open. One person, holding a long sword, stood at the entrance of the gate, looking down at the people below. His eyes were filled with disdain, as if the people below were ants in his eyes, unable to compete with him. My son, big brother. Yes. Father, mother, sister, is it really you? Suddenly, Jian Feng was stunned when he heard his family's voice. He wasn't sure before, but now he was sure. What surprised him even more was that his mother and sister were here at this moment. Yes, it's us. This was the first time they had encountered such a melodramatic plot, and it was such an awesome plot. Hurry up and come in. This door can't be open for too long, otherwise it's easy to get into trouble. Although Jian Feng wanted to rush up and hug them immediately and tell them, I love you very much, as the head of the sect law enforcement department, he couldn't forget his current status. Okay. Hearing his son's words, Jian Wudi reacted. He immediately turned into a stream of light with his wife and daughter, instantly disappearing from the spot and entering the door. When Jian Feng saw that his family had entered, he didn't hesitate and immediately retreated into the Sky Dome. Then, he took out the jade token and closed the door again. Ka. The sound of the door opening echoed in everyone's ears. The people outside looked depressed, while Jian Wudi, who had entered, looked at his son excitedly. Son, you missed your mother so much. Do you know that you were gone for more than 100 years? Do you know how much I missed you all these years? In an instant, the moment Jian Feng closed the door, Jian Wudi's wife, Jian Feng's mother, threw herself into Jian Feng's arms and started crying. Eventually, she started complaining. Yes, big brother. Do you know that during 100 years you were gone, all the training that was supposed to be for you was used by Dad on me? I lived a miserable life for the past 100 years, but it's fine now. You're back and I'm free. When Jian Lian saw her brother, she felt relieved and relaxed. When Jian Feng and Jian Wudi heard their daughter's words, black lines appeared on their heads, and they were filled with helplessness. Haha, good. All right, since you're here, go to my palace and rest. I'll take you to see the Xuanzong Sect master tomorrow. Jian Feng hurriedly walked to the front when he saw how tired everyone was. He began to lead the way to the law enforcement department. What? The Xuanzong Sect? What do you mean? Son, don't tell me that you've joined the Xuanzong Sect. When he heard his son's introduction and heard a certain word, he exploded on the spot. Jian Feng was the young sect master of the Sword Sect. In the future, he would inherit the position of sect master of the Sword Sect. When he thought of this, Jian Wudi was completely unhappy. How could he let the young master of sect be someone else's subordinate? Moreover, he was the young master of a very powerful sect. That's right, Feng. You're usually not such a mischievous child. Why are you now? Chen Ping didn't say anything else. As she spoke, she couldn't help but glance at her husband. When she saw her husband's expression, she didn't say anything else. Brother, I'll support you no matter what you say. But now, Humph, I don't support you anymore. Just like that, Jian Feng listened to their suggestions one by one. He looked at them with a smile and didn't respond to their words. Instead, he waited for them to finish. All right, you don't have to persuade me. Although you don't agree, I like it here. I like the current sect, the sect master, and my brothers who have gone through fire and water with me. Moreover, it's not just me. Even the Formation Emperor's granddaughter, Zhu Chenxi, has joined the Xuanzong Sect. Jian Wudi and Chen Ping were speechless when they heard their son's words. They still had some impression of Zhu Chenxi. Back then, Zhu Chenxi's talent was famous throughout the immortal world. When they heard their son say that Zhu Chenxi had also joined the Xuanzong Sect, Jian Wudi was filled with curiosity about the Xuanzong Sect. Boom! In order to prevent them from having other thoughts, Jian Feng instantly released the cultivation of the peak of the Grand Luo realm in order to make them agree with his decision. Yes, the peak of the Grand Luo realm, the peak of the Grand Luo realm, it's the peak of the Grand Luo realm. Ha ha! The moment he sensed his son's cultivation, Jian Wudi couldn't believe it at first. Then he burst into laughter. Perhaps it was because of his joy, Jian Wudi didn't control his cultivation. In an instant, he released his immortal emperor cultivation. When the Xuanzong Sect disciples who were closest to this place sensed this aura, they sent a signal and immediately rushed towards the place where Jian Wudi released his cultivation. They were so fast that they arrived in front of him in the blink of an eye. Looking at the strange middle-aged man who released his cultivation, the disciples of the Xuanzong Sect were instantly enraged. Why are you releasing your cultivation in the Xuanzong Sect? Jian Wudi was stunned when he heard this. His face was full of shock. This was because he sensed that the disciples who came here were also in the Grand Luo realm. Moreover, there were more than 10 of them. He couldn't bear such a blow. In an instant, his smile disappeared, and he was about to apologize with an embarrassed look on his face. You can go about your business. This is my father, mother, and sister. They're here to see me. Just when the atmosphere was tense and they thought that something was going to happen, Jian Feng walked out from behind Jian Wudi and spoke to the disciples of the Xuanzong Sect. Oh, so it's the head of the law enforcement department. We were rude just now. Please forgive us. We'll leave now. The disciples of the Xuanzong Sect did not expect Jian Feng's appearance. However, when they found out that these people were Jian Feng's relatives, they left. Without your father, don't be so reckless in the future. It's not always like this in here. Moreover, there are many dangers here. There are many things that the sect leader hasn't told us. So, don't release your immortal emperor cultivation casually. Seeing that the disciples of the sect had left, Jianfeng helplessly explained the situation to his father, hoping that he could understand. After all, he knew his father's bad habits. Well, but who's the head of the law enforcement department? All right, you guys. We're here to reunite with our son. Let's hurry to his residence. Looking at their expressions, Chun Ping was instantly unwilling. She immediately changed the topic and walked forward with her daughter. As for Jianfeng and Jianwudi, they had nothing to say and followed them. At this moment, Lin Rei was in Tianqian Palace. At this moment, Lin Rei was imprinting his disciples with a look of interest. Similarly, he knew clearly whether they were awake or not. Ha! I didn't expect Jianwudi's cultivation to be even stronger than it was 100 years ago. It's so strong that even I am a little afraid. Although he said that, he felt relieved when he thought about the fact that he was stepping on a Grandmaster-level formation. Colin, don't be lazy. And you, as the eldest senior sister, you don't know how to take the lead. Instead, you lead them to take advantage of the situation. Damn it. Don't you feel tired? No. Master, I was wrong. I was wrong, okay? Hearing Lin Rei's words, Lin Wanyu quickly straightened her posture and began to practice seriously. Sai, you little guys, if you don't practice now, you'll regret it in the future. Looking at his disciples, Linley was filled with helplessness, and his face was filled with exhaustion. At this moment, Jianwudi and his family were walking in the void towards the residence next to the law enforcement department. Jianwudi's face was full of shock. Every once in a while, he would cry out in surprise. Jianfeng's sister, Jianlian, was especially fond of this place. No, brother, I want to stay here too. I want to stay here too. I don't want to go back. I'm tired of that place. Chapter 378. That's right. Not to mention Lien even I, the sect master of the sword sect, would want to abandon the sect and cultivate here at this moment. Jianfeng couldn't help but laugh when he heard their exclamations. Looks like I made the right decision back then. All right, let's go. It won't be too late to talk about it when we reach our son's place. Chun Ping, who had been standing at the back and hadn't said anything, ordered Jianwudi and the others with a displeased expression. However, this trick worked. Jianwudi and the others immediately obeyed when they heard Chun Ping's words. Just like that, Jianfeng led his parents to the palace where he lived. There was no one else in this palace, only Jianfeng. After all, Lin Rei gave the sect leader 2 palaces during the allocation. Jianwudi and the others looked at the group of palaces along the way. Their hearts trembled, and they exclaimed repeatedly. Jianlian liked this place even more. Along the way, she kept begging Jianfeng to cultivate here. However, Chun Ping didn't agree. She didn't know when she would be able to see her son if he cultivated here. If her daughter came too, then what was the point of being alone in the sword sect? Therefore, after hearing Jianlian's pleas, before Jianfeng could react, his mother quickly refused. Moreover, along the way, all the disciples of the Xuanzong sect who saw Jianfeng would respectfully address him as sect leader Jianfeng. This made Jianwudi feel very proud. All right, father, mother, this is the residence that the sect leader gave me. The palace next to it is where the law enforcement department is located. When they arrived at his residence, Jianfeng pointed at the palace on the top of the mountain and introduced it to his family. His tone was filled with pride. Haha, I didn't expect your sect leader to be so generous. Every palace is a magic weapon. I just don't know where your sect leader came from. He's so generous. Looking at these things, I'm afraid that even all the wealth of our sword sect isn't enough. At this moment, Jianwudi's words were filled with jealousy. He had probably eaten all the vinegar in the future. Although he was envious of these things, there was no evil in his eyes. He was still as clear and natural as before. Haha, don't be jealous. Look at you, the dignified sect leader of the sword sect. Ha ha ha. Ha ha. As soon as Jian Wudi finished speaking, Chun Ping couldn't help mocking him. When she said this, everyone instantly laughed. All right, let's go, mother. I'll take you to your residence first. I'll take you to rest. Tomorrow, I'll take you to call our sect leader. Looking at his parents and sister, Jianfeng's face revealed a happy smile. At this moment, he was very happy, very happy. He had not felt this kind of feeling for a long time. Formation Sovereign Zhu Tiantong greets the sect leader of the Xian sect. Jing Xiao of Jingtian sect greets the sect leader of Xian sect. Wan Yunduo from the Wanbao sect leader Wan Yunduo's greetings. The sudden sound made Lin Rei, who was sitting on the recliner, feel very surprised. He remembered that the invitation clearly said that they would come to congratulate him after 4 years. But now it was several years earlier. These people seemed to be looking for acquaintances. As soon as they arrived, Lin Rei knew where they came from. The Formation Emperor was naturally looking for Zhu Chenxi. As for Jing Xiao and Wan Yunduo, Lin Rei found it difficult to understand these two people. However, they were all guests. He couldn't be rude and ignore them. All right. I knew that you didn't want to practice. Since you have something to do now, you can go and disturb the guests to come to Tianshan Main Hall. Remember, pay attention to etiquette. Don't be rude in front of others. Master, you're so kind. In an instant, the originally quiet place became restless the moment Lin Rei finished speaking. The whole place was very lively. Everyone was very happy. They were happy that they didn't have to practice anymore. You're like children who never grow up. Looking at the 5 disciples in front of him, Lin Rei pursed his lips and smiled. Then, he waved his hand and let them leave. At this moment, the entrance of Tianxiong Mountain was in an uproar again. Today, there were 3 clans, and there was even a mission at the peak of Big Sister. How could this group of people not be moved? The gathering of 3 clans was a very rare thing. It had been many years since such a scene last time. Moreover, Zhu Tiantong had also signed up. Now, they wanted to know how strong the Xuanzong sect's background was. Boom, kaka. The door that had just closed opened again. At this moment, Lin Wanyu and the other 4 were standing at the door in an orderly manner, welcoming their arrival. As the door opened, the appearance of Zhu Tiantong and the others fell into Lin Wanyu's eyes. Naturally, Lin Wanyu and the others were also discovered by Zhu Tiantong and the others. Juniors, Lin Wanyu, Shu Yuan, Lin Xinyuan, Lin Yuro, and Colin greet Senior Zhu and the 2 Taoists. May I know why you've come to Tianxiong Mountain today? Before a sentence could be asked, Zhu Tiantong couldn't wait to step forward and ask Lin Wanyu, "Little girl, seeing that you're so polite, I don't think you're lying. Then, tell me, do you know Zhu Chenxi? Where is she now? Is she okay?" And, Lin Wanyu suddenly felt helpless. It wasn't that she didn't want to offend him, but it was because he was asking too many questions right from the start. Lin Wanyu was stumped by his questions. She didn't know which question to answer first. Senior, please take your time. I promise that I will tell you everything I know. I will tell you everything I know. Oh, okay. Then, tell me, how is my granddaughter Zhu Chenxi now? Lin Wanyu didn't know until Zhu Tiantong asked. She didn't hide anything and directly told Zhu Tiantong about Zhu Chenxi's recent situation. It's like this. Department leader Zhu is practicing in his palace right now, and he's doing well. Now, he's the head of a department in our Xuanzong sect. His status is very high. Not long ago, he moved to the Formation Association to take the King-level formation test. Wait, you're saying that my granddaughter is now a King-level formation master? After hearing the strange words from Lin Wanyu, Zhu Tiantong interrupted her before she finished speaking. His tone was very excited, and his eyes were already wet. Let's not talk about it. Let's go inside. Everything will be clear when we get inside. My master is waiting for you in the main hall of Tianshan Hall. The more they talked, Thinking that her master was still waiting for them, Lin Wanyu couldn't wait to make a gesture of invitation. She invited them into Tianxiong Mountain and closed the door, cutting off the outside world. Chapter 379. At this moment, Lin Rei was aware of his nameless disciple, Zhu Tiantong, and the other two's actions after they entered Tianqiong Mountain. Lin Rei was very satisfied with the performance of Lin Wanyu and the other four when they went to pick up Zhu Tiantong and the other two's group. They hadn't formed a habit of bullying others before, and this was what Lin Rei minded the most. He didn't want others to poke at his back and say that his disciples looked down on others after they became successful in the sect and became powerful. This wasn't the sect that Lin Rei wanted. Of course, Lin Rei didn't want such people to appear. Lin Rei retracted his divine sense with a smile on his face as he sat on the deck chair. He then tidied up his clothes and walked towards the main hall. At this moment, Zhu Qinxi from the formation department was sitting in her seat, thinking about something with a worried expression. Sigh, I've been out for more than 100 years. If grandfather sees me later, will he scold me? Thinking of this, Zhu Qinxi couldn't help but frown. She had a very worried look on her face. Sigh, forget it. Since I'm already here, and I haven't seen grandfather for a long time, I'll just meet him. There are so many things to do in the future, and we don't know when we'll meet again. At this moment, Zhu Qinxi, who was sitting on the futon, stood up and flew towards the main hall of Tianqian Hall. Oh my God, this is simply a work of God. This palace's appearance and level shouldn't be too low. Yes, even our Wanbao sect doesn't have these things. I really didn't expect sect leader Lin to be so powerful and have such strong financial support. It seems that we still underestimated him. At this time, Startling Dawn and the other two, who were led by Lin Wanyu, chatted with each other on the way, leaving Zhu Tiantong hanging. Moreover, listening to the topic of their discussion, it seemed that they had known the leader of Xian sect for a long time. At this moment, Zhu Tiantong was deeply suspicious of Jing Xiao and Wan Yin duo. Haha, you're all wrong. The Xuanzong sect's strongest point isn't financial power, but the entire Tianqiong mountain range. This sentence directly pointed out the crux of Tianqiong's matter. Lin Wanyu and the others had no choice but to take these three seriously. Why do you say that? Is there any hope in this mountain range? Zhu Tiantong's words aroused Jing Zhao's curiosity. Of course, for a formation emperor like him, seeing through this was nothing. But for a layman like Jing Xiao, even if he said it, the other party may not be able to understand. Yes, to put it simply, all the palaces are arranged according to this formation. In other words, the master of the Xuanzong sect built his sect in a huge formation. Moreover, the formation is built with this palace as the formation eye. This formation is so powerful that even I can't break it. Unless I break through to the Grandmaster realm, there's no way I can break it. Boom! When they heard the formation emperor's words, Jing Xiao and Wan Yun duo were completely stunned. There were not many formations like this in the immortal realm. However, there was one here that even the formation emperor couldn't break. At this moment, the Xuanzong sect and Lin Rei rose to another level in their hearts. At this moment, Lin Wanyu and the others, who had been following them, were overjoyed after hearing the whole conversation. They were especially happy when they praised Lin Rei. And along the way, they were amazed again and again. Soon, Lin Wanyu followed Lin Rei's orders and led them to the largest palace in Tianqiong. Everyone, this is where our master lives. It's also the core of our Xuanzong sect, the Tianqian Palace. Then Lin Wanyu smiled and said again, "My friends, please. My master is waiting for you in the main hall." Then Lin Wanyu led the way. She didn't know how to, and she didn't care whether the others followed or not. She kept walking until she entered a huge palace. Damn, just the door of the palace is enough to intimidate other sects. Looking at the door of the main hall, Jing Xiao couldn't help but exclaim. Wan Yunduo nodded again, showing that she agreed with what he said just now. Grandpa, yes. The Array Emperor, who had just entered the main hall, suddenly heard someone call him grandfather, and he automatically responded. However, very quickly, his body seemed to be fixed in place and tears overflowed from his eyes. This scene made Jing Xiao and I, Wan Yunduo, who had walked over to the side, feel their noses sour, and they almost burst into tears. "My son, come here, come here. Let Grandpa see you." As soon as he said this, everyone's eyes focused on Zhu Chenxi. At this moment, Zhu Chenxi was crying so hard that she seemed to have difficulty breathing. Looking at her tear-streaked face, although she was usually cold, everyone couldn't help but want to comfort her. "Yes, Grandpa." In an instant, Zhu Chenxi threw herself into the arms of the Formation Emperor and began to cry. They hadn't seen each other for 100 years, and they were reunited today. How could this not make people happy? Seeing them reunite, no one stopped them. Even Lin Rei watched this scene quietly from the sect leader's seat. He told everyone not to disturb them. Time passed slowly. After a long time, Zhu Chenxi seemed to have sensed something. She hurriedly got up from the Array Emperor's arms and went to the side. Her face was as red as an apple, making people want to take a bite. "Sect leader, this is my grandpa, Zhu Tiantong, an Array master at the level of the Formation Emperor." When the Array Emperor heard that his granddaughter had introduced him, he had not noticed the sect leader of the Xian sect, who was sitting on the main seat ever since he arrived. He immediately raised his head and looked forward. With one look, the Array Emperor was stunned on the spot. He did not move at all, as if he had been struck dumb. His eyes were dull, but they were full of spirit. His mouth was wide open, and he looked very shocked. This scene made everyone feel that it was very funny. How could he be so young? This kid is actually the sect leader of the Xuanzong sect. At this moment, when the Array Emperor saw Lin Li's true appearance, his heart was filled with shock. No, it was more accurate to say that he was amazed and shocked. He had never thought that Lin Li would be able to build up such a huge foundation. He had never thought that the Grand Master of the Xian sect would be so young. In the entire immortal world, and even among the people he knew, there had never been such an existence. Haha, I know. How could I not know the dignified Array Emperor? Lin Rei, who already knew, was not very surprised. Besides, he was about to become an Emperor-level Array Master. Therefore, there was no need to be so polite to him. At this moment, seeing Lin Rei's attitude, a word appeared in everyone's mind: domineering. Usually, when people heard the two words Formation Emperor, they would go up and curry favor with him. However, everything changed here. "Hello, Formation Emperor. You don't mind if I call you that, do you?" According to his relationship with Zhu Chenxi, it was obviously impossible to call him Grandpa. However, he could not call him by his name. Therefore, he could only call him Formation Emperor by name. I don't mind. Okay, Formation Emperor. I am the founder of the Xuanzong sect. My name is Lin Rei, and your granddaughter is now the head of the Xuanzong sect's formation department. This introduction made the Formation Emperor feel very surprised. At the same time, he was proud of his granddaughter. In his family, she could be said to be a little princess who was adored by tens of thousands of people. Everyone thought that her strength was because she was looking after her grandpa. However, at this moment, she was able to take up a high position in a sect in a completely unfamiliar place. Moreover, she was the head of the formation department. This was enough to prove that she had the strength and did not rely on anyone else. Not necessarily. The Formation Emperor was very pleased. Of course, he agreed that his granddaughter could join such a mysterious sect. Sect leader Lin, it is my granddaughter's fortune to be able to use her and become the head of the Xuanzong sect's formation department. This old man has to thank sect leader Lin for giving my granddaughter this opportunity. The Formation Emperor's words shocked everyone. Even Lin Rei felt uncomfortable. However, Lin Rei soon understood. It seemed that after entering the Xuanzong sect's territory and seeing everything here, the Formation Emperor had changed his original thoughts. That's right. Your granddaughter is a rare talent. I have to thank you, Formation Emperor, for being able to cultivate such an outstanding descendant. At this moment, the two of them were praising each other back and forth, making everyone else in the hall feel very awkward. Sect leader Lin, do you still recognize the two of us? This sudden question directly interrupted Lin Rei and the Formation Emperor's praises. As for Jing Xiao and Wan Yunduo, Lin Rei already knew about them when they came in. How could Brother Jing and Miss Wan not know each other? In any case, we have gone through life and death together. Lin Rei could not forget these two people. Thinking back, he had intended to recruit them for his own use, but was rejected. Compared to Lin Rei, he felt very regretful. Yes. Well, since you have come to my Xuanzong sect, you are all guests. Let's see where you want to stay. You can stay in my residence or with your relatives. Looking at them, Linley didn't have much to say. Thus, it was better to leave early so that he could find something to talk about, and it would be very uncomfortable. Of course, it's sect leader Lin's place. The children have their own space. I think that, as the leaders, they have a lot of important things to do every day. So, sect leader Lin's place is the most suitable. Linley didn't expect that the Formation Emperor would be so weird. However, since the other party had spoken, Linley couldn't refuse. After all, once the words left his mouth, there was no way he could take them back. Okay, let's go. My residence is at the back of the main hall. With that, Lin Rei stood up and led everyone out of the main hall towards his residence. Along the way, the Formation Emperor was even more amazed, because in Tianqin Palace, everything was available. Chapter 380. After entering Lin Rei's space, Zhu Tiantong was truly impressed by the Xuanzong sect. Even the entire immortal world could not compare with the Xuanzong sect's equipment. Although they didn't have a house here, they could build it themselves. After saying goodbye to Zhu Tiantong, Linley left and returned to his home. Lin Wanyu and the other 4 disciples were left by Lin Rei to stay with Zhu Tiantong. He asked them to prepare a house for Zhu Tiantong and then go to the side to cultivate. They did not complain about the task given by their master. In the end, they divided the work and completed it. Zhu Tiantong stayed in Lin Rei's space. As for Jian Wudi, he did not know how this matter spread to Lin Rei's ears. Jian Feng had no choice but to ask for instructions from Lin Rei. Lin Rei was also helpless about this. After all, the other party was a family member of a high-ranking member of the Xuanzong sect. In the end, Lin Rei had no choice but to make a decision. However, the family members of the high-ranking members could choose to live in this space, and there was no need to report to him. Lin Rei had met Jian Wudi. He did not have a good impression of him, but at least Lin Rei did not dislike him. However, when Jian Wudi was born, Lin Rei liked him very much. He was straightforward and unpretentious. Lin Rei especially appreciated this trait of Jian Wudi. He did not like others who liked to play tricks. Some people spread the news that the 3 sects and the Formation Emperor lived in the Xuanzong sect. As the saying goes, good news does not leave the house, but bad news travels 1,000 miles. This news quickly spread to the ears of the Kunlun Immortal Clan and the Qingquan sect in the central region. Their reaction was very direct. Originally, they could not control the sections. However, at this moment, the 3 sects were living in the Xuanzong sect at the same time. How could they not be shocked? Originally, they were already afraid of the Xuanzong sect, which had suddenly appeared. At this moment, with the addition of the other 3 sects, it was hard for them not to think too much. Of course, this included the people from the 5 great empires and several great clans. Although they were not as strong as the sects, they were still among the super experts in the immortal world. They were very wary of the goodwill shown by the 3 great sects and the Array Emperor. However, after meeting Jin Wudi and the others, Linley returned to the Bell of Heaven and Earth and ordered his men to inform them that the sect celebration would be held 4 years later. During these 4 years, he hoped that they would work hard to improve themselves and not be dispirited. As for the male brother, he had taken Linley's drunken ramblings seriously. Before Jian Wudi had arrived, he had already left. He had returned to the main headquarters of the 9 Heavens Trading Company and had begun to operate. Unknowingly, he had become a great threat to the other 3 trading companies. Lin Rei still did not know about this, because he never cared about the business of the trading companies. Even if he knew, he would not interfere. As for Lin Wanyu and the other 4, Lin Rei gave them a mission to break through their cultivation and physical bodies. They all entered the Heaven's Vault mountain range to train. Everyone went on their own missions. Linley made arrangements for his wife and children. After entering the Cosmos Bell, Linley took out the medicinal pill that Xiaolong had given him to break through the formation of an Emperor-level Array Master. Without hesitation, he swallowed it. The pill melted in his mouth and turned into a stream of energy that entered Lin Rei's body. Just like that, the entire Xuanzong sect was still very quiet. It was so quiet that it was a little scary. However, the Heaven's Vault mountain range was bustling with noise and excitement. Tens of thousands of disciples and flood dragons were all training in the Heaven's Vault mountain range. Occasionally, a few demonic beasts would scream and roar. At the same time, someone's cultivation would break through. They could not help but shout excitedly. As for Jin Wudi and the others, they did not leave. Instead, they stayed in the Xuanzong sect. They wanted to see the scale of the Xuanzong sect. However, after seeing it, they were shocked. Although the Xuanzong sect disciples were not as many as the other sects, every disciple of the Xuanzong sect was able to fight above their cultivation level. Jin Wudi and the others were very surprised by this. As for the Array Emperor, he stayed in the Xuanzong sect and set up the grand level array of the Xuanzong sect. It was as if he was possessed. He stayed in the Tianshan Hall, overlooking the array below him and studying it. The more he studied it, the more curious he became. He did not know that although it looked like an array, he did not know that it was actually an overlapping array. Its power was not to be underestimated. Moreover, Lin Rei had left behind a mysterious troop. It was the 50-odd cultivators who had been suppressed in the capital ancient city ruins. Under the foundation of the 100-year foundation, their foundation was as solid as a mountain. Moreover, during the 100-year process, most of them had become immortal lords. 2/3 of them were only a step away from becoming immortal emperors. Lin Rei had given them a chance. Before they went into seclusion, Lin Rei had given each of them a few bottles of elixir pills, some cultivation techniques, and martial techniques. Lin Rei had exchanged these for them from the system. He had generously given all of them to them so that they could break through to the immortal emperor realm within 4 years in the Chinquan Bell. They would become a great help to the Xuanzong sect, and also the trump card of the Xuanzong sect. No one except Lin Rei knew about this troop. Moreover, Lin Rei had already thought about it. If the other sects did not cause trouble during the celebration 4 years later, Lin Rei did not intend to let this troop appear in front of the world. As the saying went, the affairs of the world were unpredictable. No one knew what would happen 4 years later. Lin Rei could only do so much. In the blink of an eye, more than 3 years had passed. During this time, many people had arrived at the entrance of the Tianxiong Mountain, crowding the entrance so tightly that not even a drop of water could trickle through. Several large clans, several large sects, and several large empires had all arrived at the Tianxiong Mountain for the invitation that Lin Rei had sent out. However, many people had come this time. Some people from smaller sects had also come to enter the Xuanzong sect. The owners of the 4 large firms had also arrived at the entrance of the Xuanzong sect, waiting for the 4-year promise. During these 3 years, Jin Wudi and the others had witnessed the growth of all the disciples of the Xuanzong sect with their own eyes. The speed of their growth could be said to be very fast. It was so fast that they could not believe their eyes. However, as the main character, Lin Rei, had broken through to the Emperor level in the Cosmos Bell, Lin Rei had originally thought that he would be able to break through very quickly. Even if it was not very fast, given the ratio of 4 years to the Cosmos Bell, he should be able to break through. Who would have thought that after several hundred years, Lin Rei would be able to break through to the Emperor level with great difficulty? Lin Rei could not believe this. This was the longest time he had ever taken to break through to the Emperor level. However, Lin Rei believed that this would not be the last time. At the moment, Lin Rei was very worried about how long it would take for him to break through to the Grandmaster level. When he thought about how half the time had already passed since he had returned to the Aqua Blue planet to rescue Tao Dai, Lin Rei felt very dissatisfied. Chapter 381. Hee, that's enough. Since you still have some time, don't you want to learn the art of refining weapons? You don't have to cultivate during this period of time. Hurry up and learn to refine weapons. Otherwise, you won't have time when you go out. Lin Ray, who had broken through to become an Emperor Ray Master, was contemplating what to do when the little dragon's voice suddenly sounded. Suddenly, Lin Ray was enlightened. That's right. It's time for me to learn how to refine weapons. Otherwise, I'll have to go out and buy weapons for the Sect's disciples. That's an astronomical figure. If I learn how to refine weapons, won't I be able to earn money and raise the overall strength of the Sect? For a moment, Lin Ray thought about a lot of things. Regarding this, the little dragon in the system rolled its eyes. It simply wanted Lin Ray to learn the art of refining weapons. Who would have thought that he would come up with so many problems? Cough, cough. I'll interrupt you for a moment. You can think about this later. Take advantage of these few months and hurry up and practice the art of refining weapons. Didn't you just inherit some old cultivator's inheritance in the mysterious sky continent? See if there are any refining skills in it. What? Hearing the little dragon's words, Lin Ray was a little disappointed. When he heard the little dragon's words, he thought that would give him a very good refining skill. He didn't expect that he would have to find it himself in the end. However, thinking about it, he didn't have anything now. He didn't have a chance to draw a prize. He didn't even have redemption points or reputation points. It was impossible to buy anything. Moreover, Lin Ray remembered that he seemed to owe the little dragon a lot of things. There was no other way. Listening to the little dragon's words, it was impossible to help. Therefore, Lin Ray could only rearrange his memories to see if the yellow dragon immortal had left behind any refining skills. His memories were rediscovered bit by bit. Suddenly, Lin Ray's eyes were wet. At the same time, he missed those days very much, especially the time when Red Lotus was around. Sigh, I don't know if you're doing well now. Back then, you left without saying a word. Maybe you're still in the cultivation world now. Maybe we're really not fated. I asked you to find a refining skill. What are you doing? You're thinking about women. I really want to kill you with a hammer. In an instant, the little dragon's unreasonable voice pulled Lin Ray back from his memories, the tears in his eyes, and his state of mind. Suddenly, a technique manual that Linley was looking for appeared in Linley's mind. Refining True to Life. Looking at this book, Linley found all the information he could find regarding the true inside of refining. Immediately, a happy smile appeared on Linley's face. The true scripture of blacksmithing was a heaven-grade blacksmithing cultivation method. If one wanted to master it further, they would have to find a more powerful cultivation method. Otherwise, they would have to stop here. Who would have thought that Reverend Huang Long was such a good person? He had actually hidden such a good thing in his own body that he had never seen before. What a fool. If the yellow dragon immortal heard Lin Ray's words at this time, he would definitely say, I'm innocent. He had helped a lot of people with his skill, but those people said it was useless. However, it was a pity that the yellow dragon immortal had taken the blame. All right, since you found a refining technique, hurry up and learn it. However, you have to remember, although this thing isn't anything good, just put up with it for now. Dong, once you complete the task, you'll have it. Oh, by the way, you've cultivated the second level of the Chaos Scripture to the extreme. If you want to break through to the immortal Emperor realm, hurry up and complete it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have dared to fight for it for you, right? The little dragon's words made Lin Ray want to laugh, but he didn't know how to laugh. Lin Ray said that it was for his own good, but Lin Ray knew that Xie Qiang was on his side. Therefore, he could only accept it. Ding dong, congratulations to the host. Refining True to Life has been discovered. Do you want to learn it? I'm asking you. Why is it like this? Listening to the system's voice, Lin Ray was a little confused. In the past, there was no such good thing. In the end, Lin Ray had to accumulate experience bit by bit. But now, what was going on? Okay, learn it. Ding dong, congratulations to the host for activating refining skill. Ding dong, learning True to Life has begun. Please wait for a moment. Just like this, While Lin Ray was completely confused, the system began to learn by itself. No, that's not right, little dragon. What's going on? I don't remember it operating like this before. At this time, Lin Ray, who really didn't understand, could only ask the little dragon because he believed that all of this could only be explained by the little dragon. Hee hee, you don't have to be surprised. This is a new function unlocked after the system was upgraded. Therefore, refining equipment is a piece of cake for you. What? Hearing the little dragon's words, Lin Ray was completely shocked. From the beginning to the end, he didn't know that the system could be upgraded. What's going on? Why can the system be upgraded? Why haven't I heard you mention it before? Lin Ray had never heard of these things mentioned by the little dragon. Therefore, Lin Ray was very interested in this. At this time, the little dragon had already appeared in front of Lin Ray. Moreover, its appearance had also returned to normal and was no longer as old as before. However, Lin Ray didn't have the time to look at this at all. At this moment, he only wanted to know what was going on. Let me tell you this. The system can be upgraded and there are 7 levels. Every time it is upgraded, the things that you have used and closed before will be refreshed. Perhaps you can understand it as an upgrade, and the number of times it can be used has increased. Damn it. Listening to the little dragon's explanation of the system, Lin Ray became more and more excited, especially when he heard that the previously sealed nostrils of the system could be used again. How could Lin Ray not be happy? The system is now at the 2nd level. This is very good news for you. However, I can only say that it's really too slow. If it wasn't for the system continuously devouring the chi of immortals in the past 100 years, it might never be able to break through the next level with such a high-grade gas. At this point, Lin Ray's face was slightly flushed with embarrassment. He understood that the little dragon was saying that he wasn't motivated enough. However, at this moment, Lin Ray really didn't mind. He only wanted to know how the functions would be adjusted since the system was upgraded. Yes, I know. In the future, I will definitely find higher-grade spiritual energy to upgrade the system. That should be enough, right? First, tell me what changes the system has undergone, right? It's like this. Xiaolong had never tried to hide anything from Lin Li, nor had he tried to hide anything from him. It's mainly the changes in the various sub-professions. You don't have to cultivate out of thin air and transfer the experience points. It can determine the experience points according to the various things you refine each time, and then according to the quality of the quality. So, you will be busy in the future. Lin Ray wasn't afraid of what the little dragon said. As for being able to break through the realm, Lin Ray was already very happy. Okay, I understand. However, you said before that I can still draw a warlord. Are you telling the truth? Finally, Lin Li asked the question he wanted to ask. At this moment, Xiaolong began to laugh. His laughter was very loud. Yes, you can. However, you don't have the opportunity to draw a warlord now. What's more, it's not a warlord now. What's more, the one you draw can be 1 level higher than the person who drew it. Moreover, whether it's a celestial prime or not, even the celestial world has no ability to regulate this. Crazy. After hearing the little dragon talk about the new warlord system, Lin Ray shouted in his heart. He was very happy. This was what he wanted. However, it was still too uncertain for him now. Lin Ray was very satisfied that the system didn't prompt him to upgrade this time. At the same time, Lin Ray was very curious and looking forward to the system's next upgrade. Okay, now that I've told you about the system's upgrade, what you should do now is to complete the mission. Also, hurry up and draw the chaos scripture and the refining method. As for drawing characters, we'll talk about it later. Well, you're right. Listening to the little dragon, Lin Ray felt that it was very right. If he had known earlier, although he didn't know when he would be able to break through to the celestial emperor realm, there was no guarantee that something unexpected would happen. Well, in that case, I'll take a rest first. Remember, if you want to upgrade the system again, you have to find some high-grade spiritual chi. Only then will it be more useful for the system's breakthrough. After saying that, the little dragon disappeared from Lin Ray's eyes and returned to the system. Lin Ray was alone in the bell of heaven and earth in a daze. At this moment, Lin Ray still needed some time to process what the little dragon had said. The amount of information he had received today was too much. For a moment, he was dumbfounded. However, at the same time, he was very happy and could even be said to be excited. Ding dong, congratulations to the host for learning the crafting truth. Ding dong, congratulations to the host for becoming a common level equipment refiner. I hope the host will continue to work hard. Suddenly, the system's voice came, bringing Lin Ray back to reality from the little dragon's words. Hee, I didn't expect to become an equipment refiner so easily. However, common level? It seems to be the lowest level. Lin Ray still knew about the division of grades. The grades of equipment refiners were divided into common level, yellow level, black level, earth level, heaven level, king level, emperor level, zone level, supreme level, saint level, god level, and supreme Hongming. The common level was just the lowest level. In fact, Lin Ray didn't care about this at all. After Lin Ray's Dao system changed, Lin Ray knew that this was a cheat artifact. With this in hand, what was there to be afraid of? Chapter 382. Ding Dong. Congratulations to the host for activating the refining mode. The reward for the first activation is the Worldly Huayu Cauldron, a gradeless refining giant cauldron. It can increase the success rate of the celestial device by 10% according to the celestial device that the host refines. The restriction is that the host can only refine 10 celestial devices a day. If there are 10 celestial devices, there will be no additional success rate. Damn, this is good stuff. As soon as the system finished announcing the reward, Lin Ray was so excited that he almost jumped up. At the thought of the Worldly Huayu Cauldron, Lin Ray couldn't help but want to take it out to admire the gradeless item. Of course, although he had a few gradeless items, they couldn't be compared with the giant cauldron. Task: the host must become a heaven-level equipment refiner within 5 months. If not, the system will directly erase the host. If completed, the Martial Emperor Godly Spear will be upgraded by 1 level. What? Damn, I'm playing. Lin Ray was very happy at first, but after hearing the task issued by the system, he was dumbfounded. What did it mean to become a heaven-level equipment refiner within 5 months? Was this a joke? Oh, your heaven-level equipment refiner is like a cabbage on the street. You can find one whenever you want. Lin Ray had already labeled the task issued by the system as an impossible task. From the beginning to the end, whether it was alchemy or formations, he had never reached the heaven level in such a short time. It had to be accumulated bit by bit. Okay, you have time to talk. You'd better hurry up and refine your equipment. Remember, 5 months. You have to know that you are now in the Cosmos Bell. There's a time difference. I don't want to sleep again after following you for more than 100 years. At this time, when Lin Ray was complaining, the little dragon's words came. Suddenly, Lin Ray remembered that he was in the Cosmos Bell with a time difference. In an instant, Lin Ray was filled with confidence. His previous decadence was swept away, and he was much more energetic. In that case, let's start. Anyway, it's just practice. Let's refine some things that aren't very precious. With that thought in mind, Lin Ray communicated with Tiandi Huayu in the system and moved it out. Boom! The moment the heaven and earth magnificent universe appeared, the entire heaven and earth bell began to tremble. However, Lin Ray was already prepared, so he was not in such a sorry state. Heaven and earth Huayu revealed its true appearance. Looking at this giant red cauldron, Lin Ray's heart was filled with shock and awe. This cauldron was crimson in color, and on the outside, there were some strange beasts that Linley had never seen before. In addition, there were some strange runes on the surface of the cauldron that Linley couldn't understand at all. Even the characters on the cauldron couldn't understand them. Linley was very curious about this, but he didn't delve too deeply into it. This is indeed a good item. The carvings of rare and precious beasts on it are so lifelike. If I didn't know that it was fake, I would have thought that it could really charge out. Looking at this giant cauldron, Lin Ray's face was full of curiosity. However, when he thought of the appointment in May, Lin Ray wasn't in the mood to admire it anymore. See Ling's sword, a common grade weapon. It doesn't have any offensive capabilities. It requires heavenly spiritual grass, level 4 dark iron, and a common grade flame to refine. Not bad. This is just the right thing to try. Fortunately, I collected a lot of them when I was in the mortal realm. Otherwise, even if I had the equipment formula now, I wouldn't be able to use it. Then, after making the decision, the illusory spirit bloodfire was displayed. A scorching blood-red flame appeared and surrounded the bottom of the heaven and earth Huayu, starting to warm it up. As the temperature of the illusory spirit blood fire rose gradually, the giant red cauldron became even redder. Moreover, if there was a celestial immortal expert here, he wouldn't be able to withstand the temperature. After a few minutes, the warming was over. Lin Ray started to refine according to the equipment formula. With a whoosh, the football-sized dark iron was thrown into the heaven and earth Huayu. With a whoosh, the dark iron in the heaven and earth Huayu was burned to ashes by Lin Ray's illusory spirit bloodfire before his divine sense could sense it. Lin Ray felt helpless about this. After all, these were all common grade weapons. The illusory spirit bloodfire was different from before. Therefore, common grade weapons would be burned to ashes as soon as they touched the bloodfire. F***, what should I do? It's impossible for me to find an ordinary flame now. Are you kidding me? Seeing this, Lin Ray couldn't help but complain and leave. But there was no other way. He still had to refine, and this couldn't be changed. Therefore, after complaining for a while, Lin Ray calmed down. A pile of level 4 dark iron appeared beside him, and he started to practice. Puff, 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 puff. Just like that, the dark iron turned to ashes one by one. Although the effect wasn't obvious, under Lin Ray's unremitting efforts, his control of the fire finally started to improve slowly. But as he watched the black iron disappear one by one, Linley didn't feel good at all. In Linley's heart, those black iron were all money. As the saying went, even the smallest mosquito was meat. Fortunately, his control of fire had changed back then. Otherwise, Lin Ray would have been King mad. Slowly, with the change of time, Lin Ray finally reached the optimal state of controlling the fire. With a whoosh, a piece of dark iron was thrown into the heaven and earth Huayu. His mental power controlled the dark iron to float in the giant cauldron. The illusory spirit blood fire slowly surrounded the dark iron to refine. Layer after layer of waste fell off. In less than a minute, a stream of dark iron without any impurities appeared in front of Lin Ray. Seeing his success, Lin Ray couldn't help but smile. Then, 3 sky spirit herbs were thrown into the giant cauldron by Lin Ray. His mental power wrapped around the sky spirit herbs, and he began to refine them with the illusory spirit bloodfire. Although the sky spirit grass was one of the most common spirit grasses, it was still a spirit grass. Therefore, refining spirit grasses was a piece of cake for a heaven-grade alchemist. With a boom, the 3 heavenly spirit grasses turned into 3 essences full of spiritual power. Looking at the materials, which were twice the result with half the effort, Lin Ray's mental power formed the long sword that he wanted. Then, he fused the dark iron and the essences of the 3 sky spirit herbs together. Puff, puff, puff. Slowly, a long sword that Lin Ray wanted appeared in front of Lin Ray. Although it wasn't as good as Lin Ray had imagined, it was still okay. It could be considered to have reached Lin Ray's initial idea. A 1-meter long sword with a flame symbol on the hilt. Just like that, an ordinary sword was completed by Linley. Although the process had been bumpy, in the end, he had completed it. This was a result that Linley was very happy with. Ding dong. Congratulations to the host for successfully refining a common level longsword for the first time. Refining experience points plus 10. Since this is the first time, an additional 10 experience points are awarded. A total of 20 experience points. The system's voice entered Lin Ray's ears. Lin Ray's heart was inexplicably excited. The The smile on his face couldn't help but spread out. Ha ha ha. Good. A good start is very good. Roll up your sleeves and work hard. Let's see how many months it will take to become a heaven-level refiner. With that, Lin Ray waved his hand, and the long sword disappeared from the giant cauldron. Lin Ray put away. With his first success, Lin Ray began to crazily refine equipment. It was as if he had been bewitched and couldn't stop. One by one, magical equipment appeared beside Lin Ray. At first, there were only a few, but slowly, the magical equipment piled up bit by bit. God knows how many years had passed. At this time, besides weapons, there were only weapons around Lin Ray. There were all kinds of weapons. There were knives, tridents, swords, halberds, and so on. There was a 6-string zither, a hollow flute, some fans, defensive jade pendants, crowns, as long as it could be worn or worn. Lin Ray refined them one by one. Pairs of weapons were like the ones on the ground. They were beside Lin Ray. No one cared about them, and no one took care of them. He knews. Although only 4 months have passed in the outside world, there is less than a month left. You are now only at the level of an Earth-level refiner. In the Heaven and Earth Bell, thousands of years have passed. I don't know if you can complete the appointment on the day of my arrival. At this time, Lin Ray, who was refining weapons, suddenly heard the little dragon's words. Suddenly, he fell silent. Logically speaking, he should be able to. However, even he didn't have the confidence to do it in a month's time. I don't know. Logically speaking, I should be able to break through. However, the world is unpredictable. No one knows. Sai, we'll see when the time comes. As he spoke, his tone wasn't very confident. It was even weak. However, Lin Ray still believed that he could break through to heaven level. Look, you've received a lot of rewards for breaking through to level 3. You've got 6 chances to summon characters, and you've also got the Chaos Scripture. As for the things you owe me, you've also paid them back. So relax. You might break through on your own when you're not paying attention. Moreover, after the system upgrade, you've never seen the changes in your information or the system. Lin Ray understood the little dragon's words. However, Lin Ray still felt that he could go to the system to see his information after breaking through to heaven level. Wong, wong, wong. Suddenly, a strange sound was heard. Instantly, Lin Ray was awakened. He looked as if he had been defeated. Damn, no. No, it's almost finished. Don't. At this time, the universe began to tremble. Waves of heat rushed out of the giant cauldron. Then, Lin Ray was full of embarrassment. Bang! A loud sound was heard. The cauldron exploded. However, the quality of the universe was excellent. Although the explosion didn't affect it at all, the thing in the giant cauldron was completely destroyed. Ah! A scream came out of Lin Ray's mouth. The corner of his mouth began to twitch. He had difficulty breathing and looked as if he was about to die. Chapter 383. My star iron, my cold iron, my money, my money. At this time, Lin Ray was in front of the Heaven and Earth Huayu. Looking at the broken pieces on the ground, Lin Ray screamed in pain. As he screamed, one of his hands kept blowing on his chest, looking like he was in pain. If this scene was seen by others, they would definitely laugh their heads off. At this time, Lin Ray's appearance was very funny and cute, as if he had been wronged. Ha ha ha! A loud laugh sounded. Lin Ray was even more embarrassed, and his face was even more embarrassed. Ha ha! Lin Ray, isn't it just a little thing? Is it necessary? Ah, look at how useless you are. If others see this, where am I going to put it? At this time, the little dragon had appeared above the Heaven and Earth Huayu. Looking at Lin Ray, who was kneeling on the ground and holding some charcoal in his hands, the little dragon laughed heartily, leaning forward and backward, almost rolling on the ground. You! Lin Ray wanted to refute, but he didn't know how to refute. He just blurted out a word, and then he was speechless. He could only feel his heart ache. It's not yours. It's something from the immortal world. It's very precious. Besides, I'm in charge of the resources of Sect. Do you think I'm willing to be a miser? After feeling heartache for a while, Lin Ray calmed down. He didn't have the chance to touch the charcoal, but took out some more and began to refine. But fortunately, this time, he didn't talk to the little dragon, and everything was very stable. Finally, a long spear appeared in front of Lin Ray. Humph, since you are the second failed refinement of this deity, then from now on, you will be named Spear Tomb. As soon as he finished speaking, a trembling sound came from above the spear tomb. The long spear seemed to have a spirit and responded to Lin Ray's name. Ha, good. Ding dong. Congratulations to the host for refining a top-grade precious weapon. You have gained 50 experience points. Keep up the good work. Only 50 points. Tisk, it's still not enough. Listening to the experience points given by the system, Lin Ray felt that it was not enough. Then, he began to refine again. This time, Lin Ray's ultimate goal was to break through the heaven stage and create a celestial weapon. At this moment, there was a sea of people at the entrance of the Sky Dome. Most of them were small fries, but some of them were people from big clans, sects, and empires. Everyone's eyes were fixed on the entrance of the heavens, and Heaven's Gate, Heaven's Gate, and Heaven's Gate, and Heaven's Earth. Remember this. During the celebration, follow my instructions and see how strong the Xuanzong Sect is. When the time comes, I will let the Xuanzong Sect and the entire immortal realm know that the Kunlun Sect is not to be trifled with. Since they dare to establish a sect in the East without discussing with the immortal sect, they should be prepared to be destroyed. At this time, on top of a mountain not far from the sky, the person from the Karakoram immortal sect who came this time was the son of the sect leader of the immortal sect. Similarly, he was also in existence of the immortal emperor realm. This person was known as the killing god in the immortal world. As long as someone was targeted by him, there was no one who could survive. Of course, this depended on who it was. As the saying goes, life is unpredictable and no one knows what the outcome will be. Not only did the Kunlun immortal sect have such plans, the Chinquin sect in the central region also had such plans. However, their plans were not very similar to the Kunlun sects. They wanted to use the Xuanzong sect leader, Lin Ray, as a puppet, and then make the entire Xuanzong sect a vassal of the Chinquin sect. This way, no one would be able to say anything. They each had their own ulterior motives. To Lin Ray, they were just clowns. There was nothing to be afraid of. News of the Xuanzong sect's celebration spread throughout the immortal realm. Both adults and children knew about it. Time passed little by little. A month was about to pass, and there were only 3 days left until the grand celebration. Everyone was very excited. At Lin Ray's residence in the Tianxin Palace, Jian Wudi and the others were nervous when they saw that the Xuanzong sect was still the same as before. No one was angry. Hey, Formation Emperor, you old fogey. The celebration is getting closer and closer, but the people of the Xian sect, including the sect master, have yet to appear. What do you think we should do if they still haven't appeared when the time is up? The old man, who was meditating with his eyes closed, opened his eyes when he heard this. He said with a worried expression, "Alas, I don't know. Who knows what the Xuanzong sect leader is thinking? However, I've already thought about it. The Xuanzong sect is now the target of public criticism. If there's an emergency, I'll take my granddaughter and leave here." Haha, old thing, you're really not a good person. Hearing the Array Emperor's plan, Jian Wudi sneered in his heart, but he still smiled. Alas, then what about the Xuanzong sect? After all, the Xuanzong sect made you Queen Sunday, don't tell me. Bullsh asterisk T. My granddaughter is talented and smart. That's not something a young boy like him can achieve. That's because of my granddaughter's hard work. No matter what, when it comes to that step, no matter who it is, I'll destroy his whole family. His words were accompanied by a huge murderous aura. Suddenly, Jian Wudi took a step back and looked at the scene in shock. He had met the Array Emperor before. Everyone had heard that he was good at formations. However, Jian Wudi did not think so. Because from the murderous aura, just now, he felt that the Array Emperor was not only good at formations, but also had an unfathomable cultivation. For a moment, Jian Wudi had to be wary of the Array Emperor, who had hidden himself well. At this moment, their words fell into the ears of Jing Xiao and Wan Yinduo. At the same time, they were also shocked. As experts of the older generation, they did not expect them to be so shameless. Yinduo, when the people from the Thousand Treasures Sect come in, you must persuade them. Even if they don't help, at least they shouldn't do anything evil. Remember, we still owe Linley a promise. Wan Yinduo heard Jing Zhao's message and pretended not to be angry. She replied, "All right, let's do that. Remember what you said. Lin Rei is our benefactor. Even if we die, we can't let him down." After the two of them reached an agreement, they started to plot. As for the two evil people in front of them, they ignored them. However, at this moment, Lin Rei had reached the most crucial point in Chinquin's sect. "Hurry up, as long as I finish this, I can become a heaven-grade weapon refiner." His eyes were fixed on the giant cauldron in front of him. His clothes were drenched in sweat, and his purple hair was tangled together. He was extremely unkempt. However, Lin Rei did not want to know what Jin Wudi and the Array Emperor were thinking. Lin Rei had never trusted them and did not want to trust them. Therefore, Lin Rei did not believe what they said. Time passed by slowly. Finally, after an hour, the giant cauldron shook. Buzz! A sound came from the giant cauldron. At this moment, Lin Rei had already retrieved the illusory spirit blood fire. Ding dong! Congratulations to the host for becoming a heaven-grade weapon refiner. Ding dong! Congratulations to the host for completing the mission of becoming a heaven-grade weapon refiner in May. Ding dong! Congratulations to the host for successfully refining a lower-grade immortal weapon. In addition, you have gained 500 experience points. Keep up the good work. Ding dong! Congratulations to the host for becoming a heaven-grade weapon refiner. You have been rewarded with 2 lottery tickets and 300,000 redemption points. Ding dong! Congratulations to the host for completing the mission. You have been rewarded with a chance to upgrade the Martial Emperor Divine Spear by 1 level. The good news came one after another, almost making Lin Rei dizzy. At this moment, Lin Rei was grinning from ear to ear. He was extremely happy. System: upgrade the Martial Emperor Divine Spear immediately. I'm afraid it will be a divine weapon this time. TSK, I really don't know how it feels to use it in the future. At the thought that his weapon was about to become a divine weapon, Lin Rei was overjoyed. At the same time, he was very nervous. Ding dong! The Martial Emperor Divine Spear is being upgraded. Please wait for a moment. Well, I have to summon a few Celestial Emperors just in case. Then Lin Rei said to the system, "System, draw 3 Celestial Emperors for me." Ding dong, okay, please wait for a moment. This time, Lin Rei was not as silly as he was when he first got the system. This time, he did not have to wait as long as before. With 3 buzzing sounds, 3 halos appeared in front of Lin Rei. Slowly, 3 hazy human figures emerged from the halos. The 3 men, each with a jade-like face, had sword-like eyebrows and starry eyes. If they were in his era, they would have been superstars. I'm Chu Huang, Tian Hung, middle bunker. Greetings to the master. Thud, thud, thud. The 3 of them knelt down without a word and cowed out. Hee, you can get up. From now on, you will be my bodyguards. Remember, without my permission, you are not allowed to show your strength in front of outsiders. Also, don't call me master. Call me young master. After instructing them, Lin Rei asked them to leave. At this moment, Lin Rei looked at the long sword in the giant tripod. Come out. With a whoosh, before Lin Rei could control it, the sword flew out of Lin Rei's control range. F***CK, what's going on? Lin Rei was puzzled. Logically speaking, it was made by him, so he should not have such a reaction. Hee, silly boy, hurry up and get out. When a celestial weapon is born, it has to go through a tribulation. Do you think all weapons can be upgraded without going through a tribulation like your Martial Emperor Divine Spear? The little dragon's voice came. Lin Rei suddenly understood. Without hesitation, he flashed out of the bell of heaven and earth. At the same time, the long sword was taken out by Lin Rei. However, the moment it appeared, the long sword flew out of the space. Immediately, the The sky was covered with dark clouds and thunder, which was really scary. Chapter 384. He's out of seclusion? Jin Wudi and the others, who had been staying here all this time, knew the moment Lin Rei's aura appeared. However, Lin Rei's aura disappeared in the blink of an eye. No, I have to tell Brother Lin Rei about what Jin Wudi and the others said before. Otherwise, I won't be able to live with myself. I'll just treat it as returning the favor from before. At this point, Jing Xiao disappeared with a teleport. When he appeared again, he was already in an open space in the heavenly Qin Palace. Rumble, 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 rumble. At this moment, the sky was covered by dark clouds. Thunder rumbled in the dark clouds, and blue lightning flashed through the clouds from time to time, illuminating the sky and earth. Startling Dawn was not the only one who could see it. Even the tens of thousands of people at the entrance of Tianxiong Palace could feel the sound of the thunderclouds. However, they did not know what was going on. They only knew that it came from inside Tianxiong Palace. However, Startling Dawn could see it clearly. At this moment, a long sword stood in the sky above his head, facing the thunderclouds, showing its indifference. Lin Rei was standing beside the long sword, looking up at the thunderclouds. His eyes were full of disdain, as if the thunderclouds in front of him were nothing and could not threaten him at all. Brother Lin Rei, you have to be careful. Previously, the Array Emperor said that during the celebration, someone might attack your Xuanzong sect. Moreover, he also said that when the time comes, if you can't handle it, he will immediately leave with Zhu Chenxi. Jin Wudi did not say anything and tacitly agreed. A voice transmission was transmitted into Lin Rei's mind. Hearing this, Lin Rei was not angry. Instead, he looked down at Startling Dawn with a smile in his eyes. No one could figure out what he meant. However, at this moment, Jin Wudi and Zhu Tiantong came to Startling Dawn's side. When they saw the scene in the sky, they were stunned. This was especially true for them, the people of the older generation. When they saw this scene again, they knew that this was the lightning tribulation for the birth of the immortal artifact. At the same time, they were very shocked. A finished fairy weapon meant that there was a craftsman in the Xuanzong sect, and the craftsman's level was not low. They were shocked by this. At the same time, they wanted to figure out who this person was. Even if they could not rope him in, he would still join their camp. Come on, let me see what you're capable of. Shouting at the heavens and earth, this was the first time Startling Dawn and the others had seen this. However, they did not find it strange that this was happening to Lin Rei. With a boom sound, a bolt of lightning came crashing down towards Lin Li's longsword. It carried with it a power that could destroy heaven and earth, as if this sword should not exist. Disperse. Looking at the descending bolt of lightning, Lin Li didn't care about it all. With a simple punch, he punched directly at the bolt of lightning. Jin Wudi and the others saw this scene. Just when everyone thought that Lin Rei was going to be miserable, the Yi Xiang happened. Bang! At this time, Lin Rei's fist collided with the lightning and dispersed the lightning. What? How is this possible? Jin Wudi and Zhu Tiantong could not understand Lin Rei's actions. Although the lightning tribulation of the immortal artifact was not very strong, it was still a strike from heaven and earth. No matter what, it would not be dispersed like this. However, this was the fact, and they had to believe it. In this way, after the first time, there would be a second time. Compared with the lightning tribulation of the immortal artifact, this was nothing at all. Therefore, Lin Rei was not afraid at all. There were a total of 9 lightning tribulations of the immortal artifact. Since there was a beginning, there would be no problem next. After a while, when the 9 lightning tribulations were easily dispersed by Lin Rei, the long sword beside him instantly shone brightly. A sword cry was emitted from the long sword, and a blood-red flame mark appeared on the hilt of the sword. Looking at this low-grade immortal artifact, long sword, Lin Rei did not care. He directly grabbed the long sword and threw it towards Jing Xiao, who was standing in the Tianxiong Palace. Brother Jing Xiao, this long sword is for you. It is useless for me to keep it. Jing Xiao refused to accept immortal artifacts. Besides, Jing Xiao knew how many immortal artifacts Lin Rei had. All right, then I'll thank you for your kind intentions, Brother Linli. At this time, Lin Rei glanced at the array Emperor and Jian Wudi, who were next to him, but did not say anything. As for the long sword that he had just given away, Lin Rei did not feel the loss at all. First, he knew how to refine immortal artifacts. Therefore, for Lin Rei, it was not of much use. Lin Rei did not need to feel sorry for it. Second, he was able to tell him what Jian Wudi and the others had said. Lin Rei was very grateful for this. Although he did not treat them well, it was not to the extent that they would scheme against him. Therefore, there was another layer of meaning, which was to thank Jing Xiao for speaking up for him. Ding dong. Congratulations to the host. The martial Emperor Divine Spear has been upgraded. Ding dong. Congratulations to the host. The martial Emperor Divine Spear has been upgraded to a divine artifact. While he was in a daze, the martial Emperor Divine Spear had been upgraded. It was really killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Well, everyone, let's go back. In 2 days, the sect will hold the sect celebration as scheduled. After speaking to everyone, Lin Rei teleported and disappeared. In a place where there was no one, Lin Rei entered the system. Previously, he had promised Little Dragon that after everything was over, he would enter the system to check the changes in his information. When he looked up, all his information appeared in his eyes. Name, Lin Rei. Age, 167. System level, 2 cultivation. Early stage Immortal Lord experience, 6249496676. 8 billion, spiritual roots, thunder, fire, wood, gold chaos spiritual roots talent. Peak Immortal Emperor cultivation skills. Chaotic scripture level 2, incomplete. Devouring heavenly skill, growable. Hongmeng alchemy, entry level cultivation skill. Cloud formula, Emperor level cultivation skill. Same formation, Emperor level cultivation skill. Tyrant body technique, Emperor level cultivation skill. Thunder tyrant body, zone level secret skill. Martial skills, butterfly steps, entry level. Stellar finger, proficient, silent thunder spear art. High dark level martial skill. Now cultivated to entry level. Can produce 3 thunderbolts. Myriad sword art, heaven level. Level 3 incineration, Emperor level. Dragon subduing step, Emperor level. Shura spear art, king level. Shura sword formation, king level. Shura transformation, Emperor level. Spiritual treasures. Martial Emperor divine spear, divine weapon lower grade, growable. Myriad magic sword, ungraded. Myriad beast furnace. Heaven and earth bell, supreme grade celestial weapon. Heavenly temple, upper grade celestial weapon. Worldly Huayu, ungraded, equipment. Supreme grade drift cloud celestial weapon set mount. Golden immortal lucky draw wheel. 2 character lottery system. 3 times reputation points. 130,000 exchange points. 300,000 spiritual stones. 0 heaven level alchemist. 465,835,0000. Emperor level formation master. 352430100000. Heaven level equipment forger. 345,685,0000. Talisman master. Not activated top spiritual. Medicine. Heavenly materials and earthly treasures. 50 kilograms of purple gold nephrite. 50 kilograms of purple gold sand. 50 kilograms of purple gold godly iron. Side task. Reach the cultivation level that the system wants within 300 years. If you can't do it, the system has the right to kill you directly. When you have enough strength, rescue the suppressed Paixio. Pills, 11 mind control pills, 7,836 mind control pills. Damn, not bad. Not bad. Looking at his own heart, Lin Rei didn't feel anything special. He just felt that the experience points that he hadn't broken through to the next level were too much. All right, hurry up and get out. Also, think about what Jing Xiao told you before. Now that the sect has just been established in the immortal realm, we have to be careful. Therefore, you have to deal with this matter properly and try to chase away those with bad intentions as soon as possible. Also, Hurry up and cultivate. You're getting closer and closer to the aura of planet Aqua Blue. At this moment, the little dragon's words made Lin Ray ponder. Lin Ray agreed with the little dragon's words. I know. They want to see how the Xuanzong Sect works. Can't they? Then I'll let them see how the Xuanzong Sect works. This way, I can check Jian Feng and Zhu Qinxi's loyalty to the sect. At the same time, if it really doesn't work, I'll change them quickly. I don't want a piece of rat's poop to spoil my pot of soup. Since you've decided, hurry up and arrange it. After speaking, the little dragon didn't come out to speak. At this time, Lin Ray had also returned to his residence. Looking at the empty place, Lin Ray wondered where his wife had gone. Although the enormous divine sense couldn't cover the entire sky, it was still enough to see the people around him. The moment he released it, Lin Wanyu and some other high-level disciples who had gone out to train were all summoned back by Lin Ray. Come back, all of you. The Sect celebration is in 2 days. There's no need to cultivate. Lin Ray's words made everyone excited. One by one, the tens of thousands of Xuanzong Sect disciples quickly returned to the Xuanzong Sect. All the disciples had returned to their respective sections. As for the high-level disciples, they were all summoned to the main hall by Lin Ray. As for Lin Ray, he was already sitting on the sect leader's seat, waiting for them. Not long after, the group arrived. Seeing that they were all slightly injured, Lin Li hurriedly used his immortal spiritual energy to place the pills in front of them and said to them, "Take these. Hurry up and eat them. After you've recovered, cheer up and prepare for the sect celebration in 2 days." "Yes, we'll follow the sect leader's orders," Lin Ray ordered. Everyone swallowed the elixirs, sat on the ground, and began to recover. Lin Ray took advantage of this leisure time to return to the Cosmos Bell, where he had been in seclusion for 4 years. At this time, Lin Ray had come for the 50 mysterious disciples. Before they had gone into seclusion, they had all become immortal lords. He had come to see if any of them had broken through to the immortal emperor realm, even if only one of them had. At the very least, with one more immortal emperor, the Xuanzong Sect would have a little more security. If not, it didn't matter. At least he wouldn't be disappointed. However, reality was often unexpected. After Lin Ray entered their cultivation grounds, he felt their auras. Suddenly, Lin Ray was delighted. Chapter 385. At this time, 6 of the 50 disciples had broken through to the immortal emperor realm, and their foundations were very stable. As for the others, there were a few who could break through to the immortal emperor realm in a short time. However, Lin Ray did not have the time to wait. Everyone wake up! In order not to affect their cultivation, Lin Ray could only use telepathy to communicate with them. Plop! The sound of people kneeling on the ground was heard. The moment they opened their eyes, they knelt on the ground and respectfully kowtowed to Lin Ray. "We greet the sect master. I wonder what orders the sect master has for us. We will do our best to complete them. We will not bring shame to the reputation of the Xuanzong Sect." Their voices were deafening. Lin Ray heard everything they said. At the same time, Lin Ray firmly believed in their loyalty because they had all eaten the soul-controlling pill. Good. All of you are doing very well. Don't cultivate for the next 2 days. Focus on consolidating your cultivation and wait for my call. 2 days later, it will be time for my Xian sect's name to spread throughout the world. Yes, we will obey the sect master's order. Looking at their appearance and spirit, Lin Ray knew that they would not let him down. At the same time, Lin Ray had already prepared for what would happen in 2 days. Similarly, as the little dragon had said, the quality of soldiers, not the quantity. This was also what Lin Ray wanted to see. He would rather not have any disciples than to have a few fence-sitters in the past few years. Of course, Lin Ray could guarantee that the 30,000 disciples of the Xuanzong Sect would be fine. However, Lin Ray was not at ease with the people brought back by the higher-ups. "Okay, you all can continue to cultivate." After saying this, Lin Ray instantly disappeared from the Bell of Heaven and Earth and returned to the sect master's seat in the main hall of the Tiantian Hall. As for Linley's departure, no one knew about it. While Linley was returning to the distant location, the underground healer was still recovering. Phew! Luckily, they didn't wake up. Seeing this, Linley immediately began to cultivate. Linley wasn't very satisfied with his current early-stage, immortal monarch level of cultivation. Although it had been 4 years, the time difference within the Cosmos Bell was extremely large. However, in the past few years, Linley had been focused on making breakthroughs in formations and artifact forging. Thus, Linley hadn't spent much time cultivating. Looking at his stagnant cultivation, Lin Ray did not know what to say. However, when he thought about how he would have to return to planet Aqua Blue in 100 years, Lin Ray felt that time was not enough. It was really not enough. As time passed, 2 days quickly passed. At this moment, Lin Ray opened his eyes in the main hall. Seeing that the underground had been completely repaired, but they were still cultivating, Lin Ray hurriedly transmitted his voice to them. "Wake up, all of you. It's time for the 4-year agreement. Open the Sky Vault entrance and let them in." "Yes, yes, we will obey." Lin Wanyu and the others who were cultivating immediately woke up when they heard Lin Ray's words. Then, they stood up and bowed to Lin Ray before turning around and leaving. They quickly flew towards the Sky Vault entrance. At this moment, Jing Xiao and Wan Yunduo in the Tiantian Hall looked at the people who were flying towards the Sky Vault entrance. Jing Xiao had an ominous premonition in his heart, as though something bad was about to happen. He couldn't help but pull himself together. At this moment, the crowd at the entrance of the Sky Dome was already impatient. This was especially true for those who had always been arrogant and lofty. At this moment, they couldn't wait to see what the Sky Dome looked like. Remember, don't act rashly later. If you spoil my plan, I will make sure you suffer the consequences. At this moment, the people who knew that the Sky Vault entrance would open quickly warned their disciples. Crack, 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 crack. Just as the people were looking at the Sky Vault entrance excitedly, they finally heard the sound of the Sky Vault entrance opening. This was the only thing they had wanted to hear for the past few years. Now, it had finally come true. Dong! The Sky Vault entrance opened. A dozen people didn't come out. They were in the air, looking down at the cultivators below with smiles on their faces. Fellow cultivators, today is the founding celebration of the Xuanzong Sect. Thank you for coming. Cultivators, please come in. Jianfeng didn't waste any time, because he knew that this was exactly what everyone wanted to hear at this moment. Then, a group of people bustled into the sky and entered the Sky Vault entrance. There were tens of thousands of people, including all kinds of sects, empires, and families. Jianfeng even knew some of them. Just like this, it took a lot of time for them to enter the Sky Vault entrance. Finally, they all went in. Jianfeng and the others went in and closed the Sky Vault entrance. Look, what the F***CK is this? This is too. No, this is a paradise. How can I let nobody occupy it? It seems that this place is mine. Alas, such a good place has lost its owner. However, it will change owners soon. At this moment, when the tens of thousands of people saw the scene inside the Sky Vault entrance, their brains short-circuited and they were all stunned. However, they were people who had seen the world, so it didn't take long for them to come to their senses. However, at this moment, their obsession to obtain this paradise in the Sky Vault entrance was even deeper. Everyone was well aware of their ulterior motives, so no one said anything. Under the leadership of the tribe leaders, the tens of thousands of people came to the highest palace in the Sky Vault entrance, the Tiantian Palace. At this moment, Lin Ray was standing in front of the Tiantian Palace, looking at the crowd below. Lin Ray sneered at this. Then, a kind smile appeared on Lin Ray's face. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. A few sounds pierced through the air. Suddenly, the tribe leaders sent by Jianfeng came in front of him. Greetings, sect leader. We have completed the task you gave us. Everyone has been brought in, and the Sky Vault entrance is closed. Not bad. You have done well. After hearing their reports, Lin Ray smiled. At the same time, he looked at the tens of thousands of people below. Lin Rei knew that there were people who wanted his territory and his life. However, Lin Rei wasn't afraid at all. He wanted to intimidate all the sects in the immortal realm. At the same time, he wanted to eliminate the fence-sitters and disloyal people in his sect. This was to prevent any mistakes in the future and send himself and his sect to the guillotine. Everyone, I am the founder of the Xuanzong sect, Lin Rei. Today, I have invited all of you here to announce to the whole immortal realm that the Nine-Heaven Xuanzong sect is based in the Sky Vault Mountain in the east. I hope that all of you can help us in the future. The instant Lin Li, who was at the early monarch immortal realm, spoke, everyone could sense Lin Li's cultivation level. At the same time, they couldn't help but feel bewildered. They couldn't help but feel that something was amiss. However, they were all confused by the material objects before them. At the same time, this was what Lin Rei wanted them to see. In fact, this was what Lin Rei was looking forward to. Otherwise, there would be more to the show. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Bang, bang, bang. Sounds echoed throughout the entire heavenly star palace. The moment Lin Li finished speaking, he waved his hand, and tens of thousands of weapons appeared in the sky, each one emitting a brilliant light. Cultivation level, I have invited all of you this time. There is no need to entertain you. These weapons are not enough to show my respect. Take them and divide them among yourselves. As soon as these words were spoken, everyone couldn't help but rush up to the sky to snatch the weapons. As the saying goes, one must bear the child to catch the wolf. If you didn't let them see what they wanted to see, how could they lose their rationality and do what Lin Rei wanted to see? As for the magic treasures that Lin Li had thrown out earlier, they were all obtained from the Cosmos Bell. Most of them were treasure artifacts, and some are even quasi-immortal artifacts. Moreover, every single one of them was of the highest quality. Lin Rei believed that in front of such a large number of treasures, they would definitely be tempted. Sure enough, as Lin Rei expected, a group of people started to snatch the weapons. Lin Rei stood in front of the palace and watched this scene. He didn't want to miss a single scene. Of course, not all of them were greedy people. Among the tens of thousands of people, there were a few who didn't snatch the weapons. Generally, these people were the most terrifying. As time went by, the weapons were all snatched up. Everything was back to the main topic. Lin Rei finally got what he wanted. Sect Master Lin. The Sky Dome realm was originally a place that the other sects had been fighting for. Now that your Xin sect has suddenly occupied it, it's hard to justify the losses that we've suffered. Yes. How can you occupy Tianxiong just like that? How can our Kunlun immortal sect put our face? The East was originally under the jurisdiction of our Kunlun immortal sect, and Tianxiong is under the jurisdiction of our Kunlun immortal sect. What do you think of Tianxiong? Yes. Immediately, where there was a first, there would be a second. One after another, voices of agreement could be heard. Instantly, Lin Li's brows furrowed tightly. However, Lin Li was laughing in his heart. This contrast was something that no one could understand. Humph, who do you think you are? My master risked his life to take down this Sky Dome mountain. What right do you have to make my master give this place to you with just a few words? At this moment, Lin Wanyu, who was next to him, was unwilling. She was a little princess. How could she stand this kind of discussion? Yes, my senior sister is right. You're all a group of bastards. Before, when you saw the celestial device, it was like you saw your own father. What's wrong with you now? I really don't know if your parents know that you are so shameless outside. At this moment, after seeing his disciple vent his anger for him, Lin Rei felt very warm in his heart. However, for his plan, Lin Rei had to go against his heart. Humph, shut up. Don't talk nonsense. He turned around and shouted at his disciple. As he spoke, there was a look of fear on his face. At the same time, he was afraid of being exposed in front of everyone. A look of terror and dread flashed across his face. Lin Li believed that those powerful people would be able to see it. Chapter 386. He looks like the Xuanzong sect leader is just an idiot. He's not worth mentioning. He's scared just like that. Looks like this Xuanzong sect isn't that great. Hee hee, the Xuanzong sect is mine. Linley's conjecture was correct. Only a small portion of the people had seen the look of terror on his face, but this small portion of people was enough to see the tens of thousands of others. However, in their hearts, they were just like Lin Ray. They all thought that Lin Ray was just a paper tiger. He looked mighty on the outside, but he was a coward on the inside. At this moment, Lin Wanyu and the other 4 disciples were stunned by Lin Ray's shout. They were very puzzled because Linley was acting strangely. If it was in the past, they would definitely beat him up. But now, Lin Ray could only say sorry to Lin Wanyu and the others. And it was in his heart. Everyone, what do you want? His words showed the incompetence, fear, and terror of a coward. At the same time, Lin Ray's legs began to tremble as he spoke. Everyone who saw this scene was moved. They felt that something was wrong. Was he really such a coward as he was able to create a sect like the Celestial Dome sect? Or was there another expert behind him? No one knew about this. At the same time, they were also worried. As the saying goes, it's better to be safe than sorry. No one knew what would happen next, so they had to be careful. Nothing. We just want sect leader Lin to give some of the Xuanzong sect to us. After all, the Celestial Dome sect is a good place. At this moment, the person who spoke was a cultivator at the same level as Lin Ray. This person looked wretched and treacherous, which made people want to vomit. Looking at him, Lin Ray didn't say much. If you want to divide the Xuanzong sect's territory, then come out and compete. If you agree, you could divide any place in the Xuanzong sect. I won't say anything more. Boom! As soon as Lin Ray finished speaking, the people below instantly exploded. They didn't choose to remain silent anymore. They were determined to get the Celestial Dome sect. However, the Xuanzong sect disciples beside Lin Ray were all surprised when they heard Lin Ray's words. They didn't understand why Lin Ray would say that. This wasn't his style, but they had to listen to him. After all, he was the sect leader. They could only be anxious in their hearts and discuss it on the surface. Good. In that case, I, sect leader of the water sect, Kuei Yang, peak early immortal monarch realm, would like to exchange pointers with you. Whoosh! As soon as he finished speaking, the middle-aged man called Kuei Yang instantly appeared in the sky. However, Lin Ray was standing parallel to him, looking arrogant and confident. His actions made Lin Wanyu and the others laugh. In their hearts, Lin Ray was a person who could kill an immortal emperor. Against an early immortal monarch realm cultivator, they could only wish him good luck. Kuei Shui noticed the actions of Lin Wanyu and the others. He felt a little strange, but in order to obtain the Xuanzong sect, he didn't think too much about it. All right, since Brother Kuei wants to fight, then let's fight. With a swoosh, Linley appeared in front of Kuei Yang and pointed the low-grade immortal weapons in his hands at Kuei Yang as he spoke viciously. Kuei Yang, since you dare to fight, don't blame me for being impolite. Myriad Sword Technique, First Form, 100 Sword Soul Lock. With a whoosh, a low-grade immortal artifact was activated by Linley's cultivation base. Over 100 long swords instantly appeared in the air. The tips of the swords were pointed at Kuei Yang in a menacing manner. How can this be? How can he have such a powerful technique? If he uses this technique on me, I don't care anymore. I'll take it one step at a time. I don't believe he can kill you like me. As the saying goes, confidence is good. If one is overconfident, then that person is an idiot. Obviously, Kuei Yang was such a person. He was overconfident in himself. CK, it can't be, big brother. This is my lowest level spell. If you can't even handle this, then you can only be unlucky. With a loud shout, over 100 swords rushed towards Kuei Yang. Kuei Yang was stunned. He didn't expect the Xuanzong sect leader to be so decisive. Kuei Yang Shui. At this critical moment, Kuei Yang moved. A long sword swept across the sky, creating ripples on the water. At the same time, Lin Ray's attack had arrived. No one knew whether it was intentional or not, but Kuei Yang's long sword directly broke the attack of Lin Ray's swords. Everyone was stunned when they saw this scene. At the same time, Lin Wanyu and the others were also stunned. Others might not know, but she was very clear about her master's strength. She was the strongest person under the immortal venerable realm. How could she be defeated by an early immortal monarch? Similarly, Jian Feng and Zhu Qinzi had the same thought. They were very confused about this, but at the same time, they couldn't ask about it. However, no one noticed that Jing Xiao, who was at the rear, was looking at the scene with a smile. Hee, Brother Lin, you're indeed far-sighted to use such a method to solve the internal problems of the sect. You're really invincible. He understood everything that Lin Ray had done because he was the cause of this matter. When he saw Lin Ray turning soft, he understood the meaning behind it. However, Kuei Yang didn't think so. He was in a good mood at the moment. When he thought that he would be able to obtain the sky dome of the Xuanzong sect, his eyes were filled with greed. All right, Linley, if you have any other techniques, go ahead and use them. Let me see how strong the person who created this place is. Wait. I keep feeling that something is wrong, but I can't put my finger on it. Idiot. I'll wait to see you cry later. Idiot. In an instant, the words of the Karakoram immortal sect disciple made some of the people from the top sects and clans think differently. They also wanted to continue watching the show because they felt that this show wasn't over yet. Master, why don't I go and kill him? At this moment, Lin Wanyu, who was surrounding Lin Ray, was furious after hearing the words of the Kunlun immortal sect disciple. Immediately, she wanted to rush out and kill the person who spoke so arrogantly. However, just as she was about to get up, she was stopped by Lin Ray's sound transmission. Wait, don't move. Do you really think that he can injure me with his mediocre skills? Huh? Could it be? Yes, that's right. I've calculated all of this. Since I'm going to establish a sect, then the disciples must be loyal to the sect. I'm not worried about the people we brought up from the mortal world, but I'm very worried about the people you brought back. Therefore, no matter what happens later, as long as you don't have my permission, don't act rashly. At the same time, don't tell them. Chapter 387. But, Master, what about the junior brothers and sisters? Lin Wanyu agreed with her master's words. But if she didn't tell them all, then she was a little. Yes, you can't tell them either. After all, for this step, I was hit by someone. I can't let that hit me for nothing. Remember what I said? After hearing her master's voice transmission, Lin Wanyu squatted beside Lin Ray again and quieted down. Everyone was puzzled because many people were acting strangely today. They knew Lin Ray's temper, but now it had changed. Lin Wanyu's temper was even more fiery than Lin Ray's, but now, they really didn't understand what was going on that made them act like this. Disciples of the Xuanzong sect, listen up. Now the Xuanzong sect is going to change. Now the Xuanzong sect is the territory of the Kunlun immortal clan. I'll give you two choices. Brother 1, join the Kunlun immortal clan, and your lives will be saved. At this point, the people of Kunlun said with a smile. But in the next moment, their expressions changed and a murderous aura burst out and rushed to the sky. Second, those who resist will be killed without mercy. You can choose between the two choices, but you have to think carefully. It's not easy to cultivate until now. If you give up your lives, it'll be a pity. As soon as he said this, everyone was stunned. However, at this moment, when no one was paying attention, Linley's lips curved upwards, revealing a hint of a smile. Kid, you didn't let me down. Add more fuel to the fire. This is what I want to see. Hurry up, hurry up. At this moment, lying in Lin Wanyu's arms, he couldn't wait. He really wanted the Kunlun immortal clan to take away all the traitors. That way, he wouldn't have to pretend anymore. But things often went against his wishes. It didn't go as smoothly as he thought. Kunlun brat, you can take my Xuanzong sect as you please. Do you really think my Xuanzong sect is made of mud? This sentence broke the current situation. Immediately, everyone was stunned. Even Lin Ray wanted to cry, but had no tears. He wanted to rush up and beat him up. CKU. Why are you poking your nose into other people's business? I really don't know if you're bored or doing this on purpose. However, even though he said that, he still felt that this voice sounded familiar. It was as if he had heard it somewhere before, but he just couldn't remember where. Moreover, at this moment, Lin Wanyu and the others had surrounded him. He couldn't see outside clearly. At this moment, as soon as he finished speaking, a woman in red clothes with a fairy-like appearance appeared. Her skin was so tender that it felt like water could be squeezed out of it. Her eyes were unfocused, causing people to have wild fantasies at first glance. If Lin Ray saw this face, he would definitely recognize it. Was it this red lotus who had separated from him on planet Aqua Blue? Wasn't this red lotus who had been seriously injured in order to save him? Wasn't this the first warlord to be summoned from the warlord system back then? However, at this moment, Red Lotus had a strong inner breath. She was dressed in red, and her face was as cold as ice. People would only want to look at her once and not a second time. For the record, it wasn't that Red Lotus didn't look good, but because of her cold temperament and face, people didn't dare to look directly at her. Who are you? This is a matter between my Kunlun and the Xuanzong sect. Don't tell me you want to get involved? At this moment, the people of Kunlun were furious. It could have ended immediately, but now they had to stop for a while. Humph! With me here today, you can't touch the Xuanzong sect unless you kill me. Boom! Red Lotus, who had just finished speaking, released a huge amount of energy from her body. Instantly, some of the people around who had their cultivation shrunk were sent flying. Those who remained were the top of the younger generation in the celestial world. F*CK. This is not a good person to be able to send them flying. This person's cultivation must be at least at the peak of the celestial master realm. At this moment, the Kunlun disciple wanted to retreat. However, for the sake of his and his sect's reputation, he still endured it. He didn't want to expose his fear and horror in advance. Not only him, but other people also wanted to do the same. However, there were always a few people who didn't. They relied on their own abilities and came here to get the Xuanzong sect. Humph, my fellow cultivator, this is a matter of my Kunlun immortal sect. Are you sure? I'm sure. No matter who it is, even if a celestial master comes here personally, it won't work. At this moment, the two of them were in a deadlock. Lin Ray, who was next to them, heard this. For a moment, tears were streaming down his face. He didn't know what to say. Master, do you know this person? Why would he help such a powerful sect in our place? Seeing this, Lin Wanyu didn't know what to say. Then, she asked Lin Ray via voice transmission, hoping to get some clues from him. However, she was completely disappointed by Lin Ray's answer. Humph, you're asking me. How would I know? My original plan is ruined now. Humph, don't let me know who that person is. If I do, I'll definitely beat her ass until it blossoms. Boss. Boss Red Lotus? These sudden words caused Linley to freeze in place. Red Lotus. This was a name that Linley had always remembered in his heart. Back then, he had promised her that he would protect her for the rest of their lives, never to part from her. But because of some things, he hadn't been able to keep his promise. However, at this moment, Dian Wei, who was standing next to him, stared at the direction where the voice came from. For a moment, Lin Ray was dumbfounded. Lin Ray believed that Dian Wei wouldn't mistake Red Lotus. Besides, Dian Wei's eyes were wet at this moment. Lin Ray's heart skipped a beat. He had a bad feeling. Come on, help me up. Come on. Right now, Linley didn't speak mentally. He spoke directly to the nearby Lin Wanyu. When Lin Wanyu heard this, she immediately helped Linley up. In an instant, Linley's entire body was rooted to the ground. He didn't move an inch. Disbelief filled his eyes. How could it be? What's going on? Red Lotus? Isn't he in the mortal world? Could it be? Thinking of something, he immediately extended his divine senses and observed Red Lotus's current cultivation. Damn! She's at the peak of the Duke immortal realm. Is this a joke? How could she cultivate so fast? Linley was puzzled by this. Logically speaking, the key to their relationship should have been removed. Thus, The only possibility was that Red Lotus had relied on her own efforts to cultivate step by step to reach her current level. At the same time, Lin Ray's gaze attracted the attention of Red Lotus, who was fighting an enemy. She turned her head and looked at him. She looked so tender and heartbroken that it made people feel numb all over, especially the people from Kunlun. When they saw that the person they were fighting with was flirting with someone else, they felt that Red Lotus was looking down on them. This was a humiliation to him. With a thud, Lin Ray gave up fighting with the man from Kunlun. He came to Lin Ray decisively and knelt down, kowtowing to him. "Master, I'm Red Lotus." What? How could it be? Instantly, everyone was stunned. Their eyes were filled with disbelief. Some people even thought that they had heard wrong and lost their hearing. "Master, I remember everything that happened in the past. It's all this subordinate's fault. Back then, this subordinate shouldn't have opposed Master and said that I deserved to die. Please punish me, Master." The moment this was said, everyone no longer felt that there was something wrong with their ears. It was true. However, they were very confused. How could such a cowardly sect leader have such a powerful subordinate? At this moment, they reevaluated Lin Ray. As the leader of the Xuanzong sect, Lin Ray couldn't be so weak. Alas, get up and answer me. Looking at Red Lotus kneeling on the ground, Lin Ray had mixed feelings. He didn't know what to feel. "Yes, Master." Hearing the order, Red Lotus stood up and stood opposite Lin Ray respectfully. It wasn't good for her to do anything. "Okay, don't call me Master in the future. Just call me Young Master. Don't say anything else." Hearing this, tears welled up in Red Lotus' eyes. However, she didn't want to embarrass Lin Ray, so she held back her tears and held them back. "In a while, pretend to be weak and injured. My original plan has been ruined by you. I hope I can make up for it. Do you understand?" As someone who had been by Linley's side for a long time, how could she not know what Linley was thinking? After hearing this, she immediately understood. At the same time, she was very happy. She was happy that Lin Ray had forgiven her. "Yes, young master, I understand." Turning around, Red Lotus returned to the battlefield. Looking at the people from the Kunlun Immortal Sect, she said with disdain, "Come on, let me see what qualifications you have to snatch the sect founded by my young master." As soon as she finished speaking, Red Lotus slapped out and instantly appeared in front of the people from Kunlun. "Destroy. PFFF. You were so arrogant just now, but now you're broken." Red Lotus' slap caused him to vomit blood. With a PFFF sound, the crowd didn't understand why Red Lotus was also vomiting blood. Her aura was weak and her face turned pale instantly. It was as if that slap had used up all her strength. What's going on? What's going on now?" Such a dramatic scene made the crowd suspicious. They all felt that this was a scam. However, they didn't know what this scam was trying to scam. However, no matter how they thought about it, they couldn't figure out what Lin Ray could scam them about. It was also because of this that they felt very puzzled. They couldn't figure out all the doubts in their eyes. Go, kill this woman." The people from Kunlun who were sent flying quickly took care of their own sect's disciples and ordered them to go forward and destroy Red Lotus. "I know. How can you covet the disciples of the Xuanzong sect? Do you really think that your Kunlun Immortal Sect is invincible?" Seeing that the people from Kunlun Immortal Sect were about to attack Red Lotus, the tens of thousands of Xuanzong sect disciples were unwilling. Chapter 388. Among the tens of thousands of disciples, those who had come from the lower world had all gone up the mountain. A small number of people had gone forward. As for the tens of thousands of disciples who had not gone forward, they were all hesitating. They were hesitating about whether it was worth it for them to go through all these years. If they lost, their lives would be in danger. They were hesitating. Regarding this, Linley revealed a smile. At such a critical moment, they were still hesitating. Linley felt pain in his heart, but at the same time, he felt gratified to have disciples who didn't fear any expert. Although he had not achieved the result he wanted, it was already good enough. Immediately, Lin Ray did not have to pretend anymore. But he could. Jian Wudi had not made any mistakes. In the future, he would have to greet them with a smile. Ha ha ha! A hearty laugh came from Lin Rei's mouth. Suddenly, everyone's eyes were fixed on him. At this moment, Lin Rei's voice was like a bell. His pale face had disappeared. He did not look like he had been seriously injured. The contrast was too great. Haha, I knew it. There was a trap, a big one. Old fox, you dare to trick us. At this moment, not only the people who had come to watch the ceremony, but also Lin Rei's own people were stunned. They did not know what was going on, but they knew that Lin Rei was full of energy and his aura was extremely strong. He had not been injured at all. Haha, everyone, I'm sorry. I made a fool of myself. Looking at the Xuanzong Sect disciples standing motionless in the distance, Lin Rei's eyes were full of disappointment. Humph, I wanted to give you a chance, but you did not repent. You did not step forward bravely at such a critical moment for the sect. It seems that you are the best in the sect. Destroy them. Boom. Lin Rei's words frightened everyone. What do you mean by exterminate them? There are more than 10,000 people in Ivory City. Do you think you can exterminate them just like that? Lin Rei, who said this, also felt very comfortable. After all, they had been together for such a long time. However, their decision made Lin Rei feel even worse and even more unforgivable. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Suddenly, the sound of something breaking through the air could be heard. A huge force was approaching. The disciples of the top sect were very clear about this kind of pressure. Wasn't this the pressure of an immortal emperor? However, they still felt 9 such oppressive auras. This was a huge blow to them. The great Tao made their brain capacity a little insufficient. Ah! Screams came from the side. Suddenly, more than 10,000 Xuanzong Sect disciples, who had been separated, fell from the sky one by one. It was a ghastly sight. In particular, the rain of blood was even more unbelievable. Moreover, they had never seen such a scene before. There were more than 10,000 people here. Some of them had never killed so many people in their lives. At this moment, the space was like an Azura battlefield. It was not easy to get close. Some people even wanted to leave immediately. Of course, the cultivator who had injured Lin Rei was the most shocked. At this moment, his soul had left the 9 heavens. When he thought of his previous actions, he couldn't help but want to slap himself a few times. However, it was too late for regrets now. Hee kid, you didn't go easy on him. Just as Kuei Yang was thinking about the battle with Lin Rei, a familiar voice sounded in his ear. Just as he was about to turn around, he felt his neck move. Then, he fell from the sky, unconscious. At this moment, Lin Rei disappeared from the spot with a teleport and returned to where he was supposed to be. In just an instant, the cultivator at the early Immortal Monarch realm was killed. Moreover, no one was alerted. He was killed silently. Everyone from the Kunlun Immortal Sect who came here felt even more fear. They were very clear on this point in their hearts. However, even if they wanted to go back on their words, Linley has already said that it was impossible. Lin Rei remembered all of this in his heart. Lin Rei would make them pay for their actions one by one. At this moment, Jian Wudi and Zhu Tiantong were dumbfounded when they saw the 9 immortal emperors. The thing that they were worried about had turned out to be this. At the same time, they were very regretful. At the same time, they were very glad that they didn't do anything stupid. However, what they didn't know was that even though they weren't blacklisted by Lin Rei, they had completely lost the trust of Lin Rei. Therefore, they were no different from the people of the Kunlun Immortal Sect. Even if their sons were in the upper echelons of the Xuanzong Sect, Lin Rei would still kill them as long as they did something that harmed the Xuanzong Sect. At this moment, the screams at the side were gradually decreasing. Even though they were immortal emperors, they still had some reservations when they killed tens of thousands of people. After all, their hearts were made of flesh. It was impossible for them to have a heart of stone. Blurg, blurg, blurg. This scene made the people who came to watch the ceremony bend over and vomit. Their faces were as pale as paper. Even though they often killed people, who could bear to see so many people die in front of them? Ah, Lin. Sect leader Lin. You're not the leader of Sect. You're so decisive in killing. What's more, I didn't expect you to set up a trap to clean up the traitors in the sect and those who aren't determined enough. You're indeed the leader of a sect. I'm really responsible for this. However, don't you think that these tens of thousands of lives are a little cruel and deviant? At this moment, a young man with a jade-like face and sword-like eyebrows came to Lin Ray's side and spoke to him. Lin Ray knew that these people wanted to persuade him not to kill more people. However, they knew many secrets of the Xuanzong sect. In order to prevent more people from the Xuanzong sect from being in danger and to ensure their safety after he left, Lin Ray could only do this. All right, even though I don't know who you are, this is a family matter of the Xuanzong sect. Please don't interfere. If I hear you say another word about them, you won't be able to leave this place today. At this point, Linley had made his intentions clear. He had to kill these people. If they tried to stop him, they would have to pay with their lives. This kid's methods aren't righteous. He's vicious and ruthless. His temperament is even more brutal. This kind of person can't be righteous. He's a devil, a devil. Just as the two of them were confronting each other, a deranged voice could be heard. Below them, a cultivator who had been scared out of his wits was roaring furiously. It wasn't just them. Even the higher-ups of the Xuanzong sect felt that Lin Ray's actions were a little cruel. However, they believed that Lin Ray had his own reasons for doing so. Lin Ray had his own reasons for doing so. They trusted Lin Ray 100%. They were even more certain of Lin Ray's temperament. Therefore, they didn't stop him from continuing. There were still screams, but they were so faint that they couldn't be heard. At this moment, most of the traitors of Xuanzong sect had been killed by the immortal emperor. Seeing this scene, Lin Ray retracted his gaze. He was cautious and indifferent. There wasn't a trace of sympathy, pity, or even guilt. People of the demonic Tao should be killed by righteous people. If this evil thief lives for one more day, who knows how many more people in this world will die for him? At this moment, Lin Ray didn't say anything. Instead, he laughed when he saw them shouting at him. Ha, bunch of fools. You don't see the current situation clearly. You have to remember that you are now in the territory of Lin Ray, the Nine Heavens Xuanzong sect. If you can't understand this, I really don't know how your master taught you. I think it's better if you all turn to my sect and let me teach you. Wouldn't that be better? This sentence didn't sound like anything on the surface, but it was obvious that he was insulting their sect and insulting them. They glared at Lin Ray fiercely. There was not a moment when they didn't want to immediately tear Lin Ray to pieces. However, they didn't have the ability to do so. They didn't have the ability or the strength to do so under the protection of 9 immortal emperors. Finally, when Lin Ray and the others were talking, the 9 immortal emperors returned to Lin Ray's side. They knelt on the ground and reporting to sect leader, "We were fortunate enough to not disappoint you." When the crowd heard this, they looked at the place where the massacre took place. At this moment, there were no corpses, no blood mist, and nothing else besides the smell of blood that couldn't be dispersed. Sigh. Over 10,000 people were killed just like that. Sect leader Lin is really not simple. It seems that there will be one more place to go in the future. At this moment, although the people who came to watch the ceremony were very angry, they didn't dare to say anything. After all, this was the other party's territory. If it was their own territory, there was no need to say anything. They would directly start a war. Sect leader Lin, look, we have watched the ceremony. Can you let us leave? There are still many things waiting for us to do in the sect. Yes, sect leader Lin. Yes, sect leader Lin has no use here. Why don't you let us leave? Slowly, one by one, they began to resign to Lin Ray. Lin Ray could see that they were afraid. When they looked at him with fear in their eyes, he knew that this move was very effective. However, it was a pity for those traitors. Lin Ray didn't regret. He didn't regret doing all this. This was because quality was more important than quantity. This was what Lin Ray wanted. Since everyone has this intention, then I don't need to force anything. However, the Karakoram Immortal Clan and the sects that provoked the Xuanzong sect before have to stay. The rest of the people who have nothing to do with it can leave. I won't interfere. What do you think? Chapter 389. What? No way, absolutely not. That's right. How can you do this? At this moment, the people who heard Lin Ray's words instantly became unwilling. Why? Ha ha ha. Thank you, Sect Leader Lin. Since Sect Leader Lin has said so, we'll take our leave first. Among them, no one had insulted Linley, the profound sect, or anyone else. In fact, they hadn't even spoken a single word. When they all stepped forward, it was clear that they were all from top-tier sects, empires, and great clans. Simply put, the others were unwilling. They knew very well in their hearts that Linley's previous methods were clear to them. Therefore, they were terrified. They were afraid. They couldn't stay, because as long as they stayed, they wouldn't be able to escape death. At the same time, they were very regretful. They regretted their previous insults. It was too late now. Everything was too late. Haha, good. You're all people from the top sects, empires, or families. Sure enough, you're all very powerful. Since you didn't insult me, I won't dare to say anything more. As he spoke, he took out a token and threw it to an immortal emperor next to him. He said, "Go open the door for them and let them out. Remember, if anything happens on the way, don't hold back. Kill them directly. Understand?" Lin Ray was still worried about the disciples of the top sections. After all, people's hearts could never be seen through. Who knew if they had other ideas? "Yes, I'll do it right away." The immortal emperor who received the order took the token and then led the people who could leave towards the entrance. "No, we have to leave too." "Yes, we have to leave too." Looking at the people who could leave, the people who had already broken down in their hearts couldn't bear it anymore. They directly led the people and rushed out. However, they could succeed. Obviously, they couldn't. The moment they rushed out, they were directly surrounded by the remaining 8 immortal emperors. Do you really think my Xuanzong sect is a pushover? You think you can come and insult us as you please? What do you think my place is? Angry. Lin Ray was really angry. Previously, when they insulted and wanted to carve up the Xuanzong sect, Lin Ray was already angry. However, he didn't clean up the sect at that time, so he restrained himself. However, now that everything was over, Lin Ray didn't need to endure anymore. His bestial nature was completely unrestrained. "I won't kill you. The fact that you were able to come here means that most of you are the treasures of your sections. Therefore, write a letter to your respective sects and ask them to bring the corresponding items, such as heavenly materials and earthly treasures, immortal artifacts, medicinal pills, some of your precious cultivation methods and dharma spells, or some other crystals that can be used to refine immortal artifacts. In any case, I won't refuse anything that can redeem your lives. However, you have to remember that I will set the price for your lives. If the things that you send over don't satisfy me, you know the consequences." The moment Lin Ray finished speaking, everyone quieted down. They were no longer as manic as before, nor did they have the urge to rush out with all their might. At this moment, they began to consider Lin Ray's request. However, they felt helpless about Lin Ray's request. At the same time, they had a new view of Lin Ray in their hearts. In the beginning, he was a weakling who pretended to be a pig to eat a tiger. Later, he became a demon who killed without batting an eyelid. Now, he had become a person who only cared about profits. They were very confused about Lin Ray's various changes. Which one was Lin Ray's most genuine character? How about it? Do you agree? If you agree, I believe that you all have something to send messages to your sections. However, you have to be quick. I'm not sure about my temper. If I go back on my words, TSK, then your lives will be... I've thought it through. I'm willing to use my sect's black water in exchange for my life. Hiss. Everyone was stunned. Black water was a very precious thing. It was very useful in refining fairy weapons. Moreover, every drop of it was very precious. As a heaven-grade equipment refiner, Lin Ray certainly knew how precious black water was. Therefore, Lin Ray was very satisfied with this person's answer. Good. Hurry up and send a message. I hope they'll hurry up. I'm also willing. I'll use my Sect's heaven crystal in exchange for my life. Hiss. This was a rare treasure. This was an excellent item that was comparable to an immortal artifact. Linley wouldn't refuse a treasure like this. Good. Is there anyone else? My time is very precious. If there's no one else, then No, I'm willing. I'm willing. I'm also willing. Me too, me too. In an instant, one after another, 2, 3, for people reported their treasures in exchange for their lives. There were treasures for refining weapons, cultivation methods, fairy weapons, and alchemy. There were all kinds of treasures. How could Lin Ray not have time for this? There were not many people in the sect. Now, many of them had died. Therefore, he had to get something that could improve the sect's collective strength as soon as possible. Only in this way could he protect the sect and the people. Good. Dark Group, stay here and watch them. I'll leave 2 immortal emperors here. If they do anything untoward, don't ask for my permission. Just kill them without mercy. Lin Ray could not stay here. Then, he passed the power of life and death to the Black Shadow. After leaving 2 immortal emperors here, Lin Ray left with the crowd. Thank you for your trust, Sect Leader. I'll definitely complete the task given by you. Farewell, Sect Leader. After the Sect Leader and the others left, the Black Shadow and his men surrounded them. The 2 immortal emperors sat down cross-legged and started to cultivate subconsciously. In this way, they could clearly sense the things in the outside world. At the same time, it would not be easy for them to go mad. At this moment, in the main hall, Lin Ray sat on the main seat and looked at the crowd. Lin Ray said indifferently, "Everyone, you know the situation of the sect. I'm not familiar with how outstanding they are. But at the very least, I don't want to see what happened today a second time." Tens of thousands of people hesitated when the sect was in danger. Some of them did not even intend to take action. The sect can't keep such people. At this point, there was silence. No one refuted because Lin Ray was right. They had nothing to say. Alas, that's enough. You guys are always like this. Now that so many people have died, you guys should take a look and see whose department is short of people. Why go out? I'll bring back some disciples with good spiritual roots. Hearing Lin Ray's words, the crowd was stunned. What did he mean? Was he going out again? Chapter 390. Everyone wondered why Lin Ray was doing this, but they didn't dare to ask. They could only speculate in their hearts. Master, you're not going out again, are you? As soon as these words were spoken, many people turned to look at Lin Wanyu. They were cautious and full of admiration. Lin Wanyu was stunned by their strange expressions. She didn't know why they were doing this. That's right. I'm going out this time to fulfill my wish for the Cullen clan and help them return to the elven race. Thud. As soon as Linley finished speaking, Cullen, who had been waiting below, knelt down on the ground, a look of gratitude on his face as he spoke to Linley. Thank you, Master. Thank you. These 4 words were enough to summarize 1,000 words. There was no need for the master and disciple to say anything else. Hey, get up. This is what I promised. Karun rose to his feet, respectfully standing to one side. His eyes were filled with gratitude, and for a moment, Linley didn't know what to say. But Sect Master, the sect has just officially entered the sect, and you're not here. What should we do? The higher-ups couldn't bear it any longer and hurriedly spoke up to stop him. Regarding this, Linley understood their intentions. However, the sect belonged to everyone, and he couldn't possibly watch over it forever. Thus, no matter what they said, Linley was definitely going to make this trip. All right. You don't have to say any more. Now that the sect is showing off its abilities, the surrounding sects are all on guard against us. They might even do something even worse. From now on, all disciples of the sect must not mention the name of the sect. Otherwise, we'll kill them without mercy. Yes, we'll follow Sect Master's orders. They agreed with this order. After all, they had just offended most of the sects in the immortal realm. So they agreed with Lin Ray's warning. All right, you can all leave. Homeland stays. Hurry and find out how many people you're missing. After we go out, I'll bring some back for you. Yes, we'll follow Sect Master's orders. We'll take our leave now." As he spoke, everyone, aside from Red Lotus, whom Lindley had named, walked out, closing the door to the main hall behind them. Bam! The door was shut tight. At this moment, only the two of them were left in the main hall. Silence. There was only silence in the main hall. It was as though no one wanted to break the silence. After a long time, Lin Ray couldn't help but speak first. "Why? Why are you in the immortal realm? And why are you with that group of people?" Hong Lian knelt on the ground and answered Lin Ray's question with a face full of regret. "Back then, I was at the peak of the immortal realm. Well, when I left, I was already at the peak of the Mayana realm. But soon I broke through to the earthly immortal realm and ascended to the immortal realm. However, when I arrived at the immortal realm, I had nowhere to go, so I could only find a place to practice. I joined a local sect. Maybe because I was reborn, my practice speed was very fast. Just like that, 100 years later, I became what I am now. At that time, I heard that there was a sect called the Shin Sect. At that time, I concluded that young master had also come to the immortal realm. Then, I heard the news and I was reborn. After that, Lin Ray didn't know what to say, so he didn't say anything. Lin Ray had already said that they didn't know each other anything. Okay, since you have a place to stay in the immortal realm, then leave. Previously, when we were in Tianxian, we already said that we don't owe each other anything. So, from now on, let's treat it as if we don't know each other. After saying that, Lin Ray seemed to have used up all his strength. His body didn't have any strength to sit on the throne. Although his eyes were firm, it was obvious that his eyes were red and tears were welling up in his eyes. Young master, Hong Lian wanted to make a final struggle after hearing Lin Ray's words. However, she knew that once Lin Ray made a decision, there was no changing it. She knelt on the ground for a long time. Finally, her eyes were lifeless. She stood up weakly and walked out. Looking at Red Lotus back, Linley's heart was filled with pain. Towards this, Linley didn't say anything. After watching Hong Lian disappear, Lin Ray stood up and returned to his room at the back of the main hall. He lay down on the bed and fell asleep. Bastards, Xuanzong Sect, you're really ruthless. You actually made me use my sect's most precious treasure to exchange for my son's life. At this time, not far from Tianxiong, in a palace on a high mountain, a man was furious after seeing his son's call for help. He was trembling all over, but there was nothing he could do. In the end, he could only be angry. Just you wait. My things aren't that easy to take. A ruthless light flashed in his eyes. His face was ferocious, terrifying, and chilling. This scene didn't just happen here. It happened everywhere in the immortal realm. After receiving the call for help, they all had the same reaction. However, in the end, they all brought their sect's treasures to the Xuanzong Sect in exchange for their son or disciple. More than a month had passed since the Xuanzong Sect celebration. During this time, Tianxiong didn't return to its usual calm. Instead, it became livelier than before. For more than a month, people came to the Xuanzong Sect one after another. Before entering, there was only one person. After coming out, there would be 2 or more people. Moreover, everyone's face was full of anger. They looked as if they couldn't wait to destroy the Xuanzong Sect. As the saying goes, one family is happy while the other is sad. At this moment, in the main hall of the Xuanzong Sect, Lin Ray was sitting on the main seat with a smile on his face. He seemed to be very happy. Haha, not bad. I didn't expect that this time. Not only did we make a show of strength, but we also made a small gain. Hearing this, Lin Wanyu and the others, who were sitting on the lower seats, twitched their mouths and their eyelids twitched. Haha, this is not a small gain. This is a big gain, okay? This was what everyone thought. However, could they say this out loud? Of course not. Well, they have all taken their people. Then I have nothing else to do. This time, I will leave Tianxiong Sect and go to various places in the immortal realm to find the fairy tribe. The affairs of the sect will be left to Jinling. You have to help her. At this moment, Lin Rei said what was on his mind. For a moment, everyone was stunned. However, Lin Rei's decision was right. Yes, we will follow the orders of the sect leader. Oh, by the way, this time, I will take 2 celestial emperors with me. As for the others, let them guard the sect. They are not allowed to appear unless there is a crisis. Seeing that no one was willing to reply, Linley didn't say anything else. Since the matter had already been resolved, and he had already given his orders, Linley chose 2 immortal emperors, then swaggered off. Only the higher-ups of the Xuanzong sect in the main hall were still in a daze. Chapter 391. Lin Rei's departure did not affect the image of the Xuanzong sect much. Jian Feng and Zhu Qinci were busy with their own duties, while the others were busy with their own affairs. As for Jian Wudi and Zhu Tiantong, after knowing that Lin Rei had left, they stayed for a few days and then left separately. However, Jian Lian insisted on staying, so Jian Feng had no choice but to report it to Jian Ling. Jian Ling certainly agreed to such a thing. Therefore, Jian Lian lived in Lin Rei's space legitimately. Jing Xiao and Wan Yunduo did not. They stayed in Tianxiong Xuanzong sect. It seemed that they had no intention of leaving. Regarding this, no one could do anything about it. After all, they could not drive them away. Therefore, in the end, Jing Xiao and Wan Yunduo stayed in Xuanzong sect. As for Jian Ling, after knowing that her husband had left alone, she was angry for a long time. However, although she was angry, she did not neglect the task given to her by Lin Rei. Everything was back to normal. All the disciples had learned their lesson from this incident. All the disciples had to go to the mission hall to accept tasks every day and then receive cultivation resources for a period of time. Everyone was the same. Whether they were personal disciples or others, the treatment was the same. There was no special treatment. If they did not work, they would not get anything. This was the rules set by Lin Rei. Therefore, all of them had to abide by it. In the immortal realm, the news of the Xuanzong sect spread for a while. Then, it faded out of people's sight. However, in the eyes of all the sects in the immortal realm, the Xuanzong sect was a place that they could not go to, because they had seen the Xuanzong sect killing people and the strength of the Xuanzong sect with their own eyes. However, the higher-ups of all the sects were very attentive at this time. At the same time, they were also very afraid. At the edge of the central region, at this time, Lin Rei, who had left the sect, had arrived at the central region. I didn't expect the immortal spiritual chi to be so dense when we just entered the central region. However, it's a good thing that our sect is in the Sky Dome. Otherwise, I would really want to move our sect here. At this moment, the 2 immortal emperors who followed Lin Rei out nodded after hearing Lin Rei's words and didn't do anything else. Regarding this, Lin Rei felt very helpless. At the same time, there was nothing he could do. Who asked him to make the wrong choice? He had chosen 2 taciturn people. After a month, Lin Rei kept on inquiring about where the elves lived. Finally, at a tavern called Heavenly Origin, he found out that the elves lived in the westernmost part of the central region, the Elven Forest. The Fairy Forest was a forbidden area in the west of the central region. Apart from those who knew the fairy clan and their own clansmen, anyone who entered would die. No one was an exception. The entire celestial realm was helpless about this. At the beginning, there were some restaurants and places to stay. However, later on, not to mention restaurants, there was nothing left. It was a miserable life. Finally, after a month, Lin Rei set foot in the central region. Let's go and see if there's a city or something in front. I haven't eaten meat and drank wine for a long time. My mouth is about to explode. At this moment, Lin Rei looked at the lush forest around him. For a moment, he pulled himself together and walked forward quickly for the sake of drinking wine and eating meat. At the same time, he kept complaining about the boredom of the journey. Behind him, the 2 immortal emperors who followed him felt very helpless when they heard the words of their own sect. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. 3 sounds broke through the air. Lin Rei and the 2 immortal emperors instantly disappeared on the spot. There was no need to doubt Lin Rei's speed. After flying for a while, A medium-sized city appeared in front of Lin Rei's eyes. For a moment, his face lit up with joy. Haha, I knew it. No matter what, the central region was still a vast land with abundant resources. How could there be no cities? In an instant, after seeing the city, Lin Rei's wine worm in his stomach could no longer hold back. Let's go. Let's enter the city. After deciding to enter the city, he found a deserted place and landed on the ground. Then, he brought his followers to the city gate tower. When he looked up at the signboard above his head, the 3 words Dawn Moon City entered his eyes. Haha, Dawn Moon City. This name is simply amazing. Then, he led them into the city. Along the way, there were no obstructions. Regarding this, Lin Rei was very gratified. At least, it was not like the previous few cities. They had to wait for him to show his strength before they were willing to let him pass. Lin Rei thought that there were not many people in this borderland. However, Lin Rei was wrong. The moment he entered the city, Lin Rei was stunned. There were not many people in this place. In fact, there were many people. There were so many that Lin Rei almost couldn't believe his eyes. However, although there were people, everyone's faces were filled with pain and helplessness. There were even women who were sitting on the roadside, tears streaming down their faces. Lin Rei was even more confused by this scene. Every place in the immortal realm had its own customs. Therefore, Lin Rei divided this scene into different customs and did not pay much attention to it. Instead, he walked forward and looked for a restaurant. This was the only reason he came here. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. This is... Suddenly, a gust of cold wind blew. Lin Rei felt a trace of strangeness. At the same time, it made Lin Rei feel a strong interest in this place. Haha, it seems that you're not bad. You can actually feel what that thing is. You're really worthy of being trained by my little dragon. Not bad, not bad. Just when Lin Rei was still not sure, the little dragon's voice came. Suddenly, Lin Rei realized his previous imagination. Suddenly, his eyes widened. He looked as if he could not believe it, How is this possible? This is the immortal realm. How can there be devil chi? Moreover, there seems to be something strange here. At this moment, Lin Rei knew that his doubts could only be explained by the system's little dragon. Therefore, Lin Rei did not argue and asked directly. However, even if Lin Rei asked, the little dragon might not necessarily submit. Sure enough, the little dragon's answer made Lin Rei want to beat someone up. I can't tell you the whole story. I can only say that this is devil chi. You guessed it right. But other than that, you'll have to investigate the rest by yourself. The moment it finished speaking, the little dragon's voice disappeared. Lin Rei stood there in a daze, thinking. His eyebrows were tightly knitted, and he did not look very good. In response, the 2 celestial emperors behind him hurried forward and asked in a concerned tone, "Young master, what's troubling you? Can you tell us? We might be able to help you." Hearing the 2's words, Lin Rei woke up from his own world and said with a worried expression, "Just now, I felt a trace of demonic energy." What devil chi? That you're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.